Hey, Jeremy Lee here, voice of Makoto in Persona 5, and I am so excited that you found your way here to the Raw Dogs podcast because as a fellow cheesehead and a lover of all things Wisconsin, how can you not want to hang out with these guys who are spreading their love of gaming and making the world a brighter, more positive, definitely more fun place. So hang out for a while and enjoy the Raw Dogs podcast, part of the Greenlit Podcast Network.
What comes with a pin? Is that it?
Yeah.
Just the game and a pin?
Well, and a steelbook in case you need 2 cases for 1 disc.
Mm-hmm. That's how I felt about Ni no Kuni. Remember when like the GameStop employee would be like, "Here's the steelbook." You didn't need a fucking package for it.
When I got Resident Evil 5, I bought the deluxe edition, and it didn't come with like the regular box art. It just came in the steelbook.
They used to do that. Now there's like a production thing that goes along with it. It's so dumb.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Raw Dogs, the episode 50, super spectacular.
Super duper.
Cue some stupid sound effects.
I'll defeat the darkness too, says Woody.
Woody, you can't be serious. This is Raw Dogs. We are your favorite podcast that talks about video games in a semi-serious form. This is our 50th episode. We've been teasing a Kingdom Hearts episode for a while. So Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts. I am one of your hosts. My name is Brad. I'm the wizard of Wikipedia. I do a lot of research and do a lot of planning. That's kind of what I've done since day one.
Yeah, it is. And I'm Dylan. I'm the guy who shows up and makes doo-doo and dipe and really becomes the little stinker of the podcast, like just the little rapscallion that everyone loves and enjoys, but also the bad boy who everyone wants to be with, but no one can have.
Because your heart is sealed away inside of Vanitas, is what you said, I believe.
Yeah, I did. How did you remember that quote?
I was on the Kingdom Hearts fandom Wikipedia page under the Vanitas segment, and it said in Dream Drop Distance that Dylan, who was actually Zaldin,
Nalid.
You're the only one that has a character in Kingdom Hearts out of us three, so be grateful.
It was a lot of lobbying.
Zaldin's actually one of the cooler members. Stretching the word cool. Who else is here?
I'm Dominic. I'm just the guy who plays a lot of video games and gets invited onto the podcast, and that's the research I do.
It's about right.
Yeah.
And my nobody name is Zeldarb. I'm going to go with.
Zeldarb.
Is that what is that? Is that Brad?
Well, it's Bradley.
Excuse you.
Instead of Bradley, it's Zeldarb.
I went on, and there's actually like an organization 13 name generator.
Okay,
and you
we're
can type
looking
your
it up
name in
literally right now.
So I did Dominic, and it didn't bear very good fruit. Dom just is ex-Dom, which not great.
Zadom.
But I did Dommy.
Zadom's not bad.
I did Dommy, and it came up first. First one was Mexadom, which I thought was cool. But then I did my last name. And this is not a joke. The very first thing that popped up.
Zanelli?
So my last name is Spinelli. It came out with plain sex. And I'm not even joking.
I'm actually going to go with Barrel Dax.
That's pretty good. Do
That's
Dylan.
not bad. Yeah, do Dylan with, it's a Y, right?
DY, yeah. The only one that's actually legitimate.
Xanadil?
It sounds like some depression medication.
And I love how some of try Xanadil.
Literally.
Ask your doctor
Have you
if
lost
it's right
your
for you.
Have you lost your heart? Try Xanadil.
It does sound like blood pressure medication, which I'm currently on. So
Yes. So this is episode 50. Dylan, how do you feel today, making it to this big monumental point?
I feel like it's barely been a month.
It has gone very fast.
Yeah.
It actually has. I mean, we started right before the pandemic. The pandemic happened. Then this was kind of our sanctuary.
Oh, whoa.
Away from kind of just how shitty and dumb the world was, and it actually became a bit of a bastion.
Like
for
a
me.
Hollow bastion?
Yes. But not hollow. Full of life.
My back used to be Sora.
Brad, I was actually going somewhere with this. but no, yeah, I think for the both of us especially, it gave us something to focus on, and it's been extremely helpful. And now I'm tired all the time because I got this new job where they call me an industrial athlete. No joke. And I'm sweaty and I'm losing a ton of weight. It's fantastic, but I'm also so tired all the time. And I'm fucking ready to talk about video games.
And Dom, we were very happy to have you join us on episode 20 was your first one.
I'm just kidding.
You joined us for Mario RPG, and we couldn't get rid of you.
Yeah. I've been living in your closet ever since.
Thank you to our Patreon supporters, the executive producers, Ryan Christie, Nick Brian Ward, Tyler Keller, and Kip the Killer Killmeister, Kilimanjaro. Should have thought of some cool organization names for y'all. Maybe we'll do that for the lore episode. But
Donald Kip.
I got nothing.
Kippy.
I have no more room in my head for improvisation because it is so full of Kingdom Hearts knowledge right now.
This is going to get so wicked.
Well, we're going to drink some beers. I was thinking about bringing home a Mosquito Light Strawberry Lemonade and saying it was a Pooh lemonade, but instead I was able to find more fitting beers. So in honor of Kingdom Hearts, we are going to be drinking from both the light and the darkness. We have Miller Lite and a Surly Barrel-Aged Darkness. Because we exist between worlds. We're not light or dark here on the show. If anything, I'd say we're more on the dark side.
Well, truly, because if it's really a choice between Miller Lite and this nice Surly beer, I will choose the darkness.
Today we are talking about the Kingdom Hearts series. So we're going to be talking about behind the scenes development, gameplay, some of the stories around that. But we're not going to talk too much about the lore. That is for the next episode we're going to record. This is more about the experience of the games. We can talk about what worlds we go to because if you play the games, you know the worlds don't actually play into the lore barely at all. Those are
one could say it's superfluous and means nothing, and it holds up a barely existent plot.
One could say that Nomura just wanted everyone to look at him, so he took Mickey Mouse and did what he wanted with him, which sounds dirty, but maybe Mickey had it coming. Before we get into it, I kind of just wanted to ask you guys, what's your overall experience with the series? What games have you played?
So I don't think I've actually ever talked to you guys about this. When I was in high school, I didn't have a PS2. It was the first game I bought for my PS2, but the way I was able to get it, my parents didn't pay for it. I actually stood next to a vending machine every day at lunch and would ask people for their change.
Oh my God.
And after
tell me this.
Maybe after 3 months or so, Nicole Gentile, if you're out there listening, thank you for literally giving me your money every day. But she and many others would just give me their... Shion. Okay. Shion, yes.
My brain is hurting right now.
Do I have to put you out of your misery?
They gave me enough money for me to save up over 3 months to buy... a PlayStation 2,
Jesus,
Kingdom Hearts 1, and a second controller.
Nice.
Yeah, so I had the full bundle.
So you told your girlfriend at the time she was controlling Donald?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have played Kingdom Hearts 1. I have then played Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep, and...
Dream Drop Distance?
No, then just 3.
Okay.
So I feel like having played 3, that is the core amount to understand what's actually happening in 3.
Honestly, if you understand what's happening in 3, you understand most of the series. Dylan, yourself?
When this game was first released, I so badly wanted to play it because this game was made for 12-year-old boys, essentially. This is not discounting, obviously, there's a huge female following for Kingdom Hearts, probably larger than the male audience for it. But if you recall Simple and Clean playing in a commercial and seeing some of the cutscenes and in-game footage and stuff
fantastic.
Like that, and then that song was playing in the background, I was fixated on it. My mom wouldn't buy me a PlayStation 2, and I was a lonely, dorky kid. I obviously never got around to it. Then I started hanging out with people, and one day I'm just I'm going to give this a shot. One of my friends, we just hang out in his basement. I started playing it. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like 16 years old at this time. I start playing it, and I don't want to give away a lot of spoilers, but 16-year-old Dylan, not that different from 31-year-old Dylan in that way. I'm just like, what the fuck is this horse shit? I'm in Alice in Wonderland. Why is it a solid wall that shit's painted on? And I was just like, all right, I'm going to keep playing through this. And my friend swore up and down that it was good. And I kept going with it. And I'm like, when is it going to get good? When is this game going to get good? And I kept saying, I'm like, I'm rooting for the villain at this point. Who's the villain? Oh, well, they don't reveal it till the end. Oh, so I have no like character motivation whatsoever.
So you're saying you loved the first game?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I actually did like the first game a whole lot, but it wasn't because of the Final Fantasy element, because I had not played a single Final Fantasy game at that point. I had been to Disneyland probably
You are a Disney person.
20 plus times before this game even came out.
You found some lucky emblems in person.
Yes, there are the hidden Mickey aspect in Kingdom Hearts 3 in Hercules' thing before they actually even tell you that there is a hidden Mickey.
You don't even get a camera the first time in there, which is
Right.
very frustrating.
Well, I found a hidden Mickey and I went, oh, this is cool. They're doing a hidden Mickey thing because you follow the Mickeys and then you end up in like a forge and you can make a shield for Goofy.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And I thought they were going to do that throughout the whole game, but then it just turned into a Pokemon Snap thing.
Yeah. And then you could also find people's used Chinese food.
Yes.
Yeah.
To give to a rat to make dinner for you. All very sanitary things.
There's a million ways to take the plots of Kingdom Hearts and just make them sound very silly.
Now hold on. Rats are quite sanitary creatures. You're thinking of like.
So you've
demonic
played
rats.
Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yes.
Yes. Did you play... You've seen Kingdom Hearts 3. I know you've seen a lot of that.
I played some of 2.
And you probably didn't fuck with much of the other stuff.
Well, the thing is I said to my friend, just show me the beginning and end of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I think I'm going to understand exactly what goes on.
Yeah.
He did show me the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I'm like, whoa, this game is like, whoa, what the fuck? This looks way better. And I'm like, is it different in like the worlds and stuff? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, so they just have like a finale. That's like
No, 2 is... I thought 2 is pretty great.
2 might have the best gameplay overall.
I think so too. I think Birth by Sleep has better gameplay than 2, and I think they tried to replicate it in 3, and it didn't do as well.
And it's a shame you didn't try Dream Drop Distance.
Is that the best?
Because, well, the flow motion exceeds there.
Okay.
Compared to 3, which it's very poorly implemented, in my opinion. But my personal experience... to me, Kingdom Hearts 1 is like one of the PlayStation 2 games. Like this case alone, just like the
hologram.
The hologram.
So evocative,
Yeah.
The back. I remember the first time seeing it in a magazine, I was thinking Final Fantasy and Mickey Mouse looks dumb. To me, Disney was for kids, and I was 12 at this
I
time.
don't like Power Rangers anymore.
I got rid of my Pokemon, just so everyone knows. But I remember being against it, but then seeing what the gameplay was. And I think this was actually extremely important for action RPGs in the mainstream, making it like a style of gameplay that people are comfortable approaching,
Right.
which there wasn't a ton of back then. Chain of Memories. This is my original Game Boy Advance case here, and I beat that on the Game Boy Advance. I beat 2. I skipped over like the other releases initially, but when they did the 1.5, 2.5 remixes, I have since beaten Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance, coded in 358 over 2 days. They're not made available like on an easy to find platform these days, so I skipped those. And I've played all of them pretty much. And
I can tell you're very tired.
And oh man, and Kingdom Hearts 3 I have beaten twice now because I wanted to do a speed run. Not a speed run, but a skip every possible cutscene and just go as fast as I can because I want to know, compared to my original playthrough, how much could I get it down to? So I'm excited
Probably at least 15 hours less.
Well, we'll divulge that when we get to 3.
Okay.
But let's start right at the top because there's one person that is more integral to this than anybody, and that is Tetsuya Nomura. And everyone, when you say Tetsuya Nomura, a lot of people have like that negative feeling in the back of their throat.
No, I'll just say it.
Well, you say you don't like the guy. He also developed one of your favorite characters of all time, Squall. Like, he created him. This guy is responsible for a lot of the modern Final Fantasy takes. he created a lot of things that are near and dear to like modern RPGs, at least in the Square family. But I don't know. I used to.
Werner von Braun helped us get to the moon. What are we talking about?
Well, I'm just saying, like, he's got a unique style, and he has become one of the pillars of Square Enix, for better or worse.
For worse.
I don't know. I think it's one of those situations where George Lucas made Star Wars, and then when no one questioned him, he made the prequels. The prequels are good, but I think
better than the sequel.
A few people saying things like, maybe not this, George, maybe try a little more of this, would have been helpful. If some other voices, rather than just Nomura getting to Nomura all over everything.
Let me put this right out there right away. I think he's fine as a visual designer. I think his characters read very well on screen. And I also think that he's very good at having everything kind of mesh together. My problem with him from the get-go has always been he does not design interesting video games himself when he's the director. Gameplay, there's nothing there.
I think he comes up with a lot of cool concepts, but he shouldn't be involved in like... It's like George Lucas should come up with the idea of Indiana Jones. Let Spielberg do the rest.
Well, it should be a Miyamoto situation where he lets his developers run wild, and then he comes and sees some of it coming along and says, change this or this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks really good. He shouldn't be like...
He does give a lot of the development teams a lot of room to do what they want, though. He'll say
a
like...
reason people like him.
He'll say, aim for this. And people there's a lot of back and forth, surprisingly. But Nomura was born, that is October 8th, 1970, the day after this episode releases. So happy birthday, Nomura. We love you as much as we are critical of you. He dreamt of becoming a manga artist. Yoshitaka Amano was a favorite of his. He saw an ad for a job in the newspaper that included an Amano illustration, so he applied, which is kind of exciting. His first day at Squaresoft...
Amano is so good.
He's one of the best.
Yes.
First day at Squaresoft was April 16th, 1991. Sakaguchi was appointed executive vice president that same summer. This is actually something that happened. They had a meeting where he brought everybody in that worked at the company. There was a whiteboard with 3 games on it, and he just took everyone's names and put them under a certain game. So that was pretty important to what ended up happening. It was either Romancing Saga, Seiken Densetsu, or FF5. Nomura was put into Final Fantasy V. From there, we know a lot of his story. He started off just doing some battle graphics, monster design for 5, graphics director for 6. He actually designed the entire final battle with Kefka, that giant monster that goes up. That was a Nomura piece. He designed Shadow and Setzer. 7, he co-wrote the story, and that's when he replaced Amano as a character director, character designer. But one thing Nomura was always good at was overhearing things in meetings and always saying ideas and being able to just come up with shit and back it up. He was very much always willing to put himself out there. Much to his credit, we see some of his other Nomurisms, whatever you want to call them, early on.
That. I like that.
Such as stupid naming conventions. Cloud Strife, Tifa Lockhart.
I don't think that those names suck. And it is not me even going backwards and saying like, oh, I think this is like nostalgic. I actually think that having names like this, even when it's in Japanese, it is still kind of Americanized because all they can do is pronounce it. So I think that it's all memorable. And I also think that he was forward thinking in this idea that he was trying to almost half Americanize these things. He understood that the West really wanted this type of video game. I will give him credit for that because clearly there was an audience for this that he understood. Otherwise, he would have given them names like Shinji or like, well, I mean, Kairi is, for the most part, he kind of understood what he was going for. There's a video game that just came out called Lost Judgment. It's a sequel to a game called Judgment. It is the blandest name that you've ever heard. It's just a one-word. It's a one-word title. Calling something crazy like Kingdom Hearts, it's immediately evocative, gets right in your system.
What about 0.2, a fragmentary passage?
That will do it too, though. Like something ridiculous.
Yeah, Birth by all of these. Birth by Sleep.
You'll remember them.
And he's at least self-aware with this too.
Yeah.
Because
he knows he's goofy.
in Kingdom Hearts 3, like when you do the prologue and then it goes Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
Look at
it's
this.
like, oh, fuck you.
This in itself, Kingdom Hearts 3D. Dream
Dream
Drop
Drop
Distance.
Distance.
3Ds.
And I promise you that was the entire pitch. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think Nomura directed this one.
Ooh, I have some of Nomura's actual interviews describing why he came up with the names. I tried to come up with a title meaning for each game. Final Fantasy VIII, he suggested school-based concepts, knights and sorceresses.
Yeah.
Pushed for realistic characters. So a lot of, at least style design choices were very much influenced by him. It was his idea for the grand intro sequence, which does have very much a Kingdom Hearts feel where everything's out of order, like a big musical number.
There's even a shore where water washes up.
Yep. And it all makes perfect sense. He designed 50 characters between Final Fantasy X, Bouncer, Parasite Eve, and many other games of that time. Just
Bouncer, adult Sora after he fails and he needs to get a different job.
But we are going to share some of this surly darkness. This is Russian Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. This is the 2021 version. We didn't age it too much ourselves, but it is a delicious beverage, and we're going to take part in the darkness. Ansem would be so proud right now. Not the wise.
Well, just original.
Terra Nort's Heartless is what I mean. Drink it away. Drink those painful feelings away. Give into the darkness, Riku.
Let's be honest. I am the Riku of this podcast.
Okay, you're the Kyrie Dom.
Yes!
You truly are. I love your flower keyblade. It's so weird.
Destiny's Embrace, you mean. So, when Moogle met Chocobo, 1996, Nomura plays Mario 64 for the first time. He says out loud, I want to make a game like this. And he was told by his friends at Square at the time, nobody can compete with Mario, perhaps except Mickey Mouse.
Damn.
And so that kind of stuck in his head. Now, there is a famous story told in every video game magazine.
Elevator.
The old elevator, where they're like, oh, well, we just share an office building, and we were just in an elevator. We said, what about Mickey and Squaresoft? And this is one of those things that is a very fun tale. It's a very romanticized, in my opinion. They did share office space.
It's a biopic scene.
Mm-hmm.
This story was first told by Dan Winters of VP Disney Interactive in 2003. Take it for what it's worth. From what really happens, 1998, the PlayStation is very successful, and Disney likes money. Maybe we can get the studio that made FF7 to make us a game like Super Mario RPG. Nomura overhears Sakaguchi and Hashimoto talking about Mickey Mouse, which gives him a boner. And he blurts out, I want to make an action RPG. And they're fucking, he was overstepping his reach a little bit. They're like, yeah, we'll give you a try. He immediately started sketching and designing the game in his office, such as Mario jumping into paintings. Sora would visit various Disney worlds. And Square, initially, they wanted a game based on Mickey Mouse. And Disney said, no, your star is Donald Duck. And Nomura was like, oh, God, no. Let's do something else. Nomura's pitch, Sora was a half-human, half-lion hybrid.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
With
His hair.
a chainsaw weapon.
Yes, and
What?
here's the picture of that there.
Okay.
So, that would be a chainsaw going around the outside of the sword, but...
It's very Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. You remember the Marsh, the character?
Yeah.
In that one, he had this big, you don't even see it in the game. It's like this big, pizza cutter sword.
Yeah.
This is the style of the time.
Well, and I think it is
Elaborate things.
It's a very cool designed
is
weapon.
cool.
Yeah.
The problem is Nomura went into a pitch at Disney and said our main character is a chainsaw, and he could have said it's a vibro blade or some other term, and I think he might have gotten away with it, but Disney said no. So that's where we got our Keyblade. Nomura spent the next year in solo development, fine tuning some ideas, selecting 18 possible worlds.
18.
Yeah.
Possible ones.
Yeah.
He was just throwing out a wide blanket of.
I mean,
He needed to know what he could get.
And at this point, it was just Disney, but he realized he needed a character to teach Sora about the Keyblade. And I don't know if he has enough imagination if he couldn't find a suitable one in all of Disney. Because he said he couldn't find one. That's why he needed a Squall type character. That's how Final Fantasy got in there. He needed someone to teach him about the Keyblade. But there's a lot of.
I think he's particular in his love for Squall.
He's like, no, there's no one but Squall, right? We got to use Squall. There's there's a lot of Disney characters who have used swords. Well,
Like Rafiki
it's
or...
what about Squall, though?
Mulan can wield a sword.
Sword in the Stone, or like Merlin, or I don't know. There has been characters that have used swords before.
Yen Sid is technically one of those older characters.
It's a shame they didn't realize. Like, he became a Keyblade wielder in the second game, like a former Keyblade master. He has given it up. He is retired from the Keyblade game at this point. But
he doesn't want to get involved for reasons that he'll never specify.
Well, after that Fantasia business, he's like, I don't know if I can teach people stuff.
We'll talk about it in the lore episode.
Yeah, those hippos and tutus are pretty scary.
So, creating this kingdom is tricky. Ownership and responsibilities is a very difficult thing to navigate when you have these Disney licenses. So, the Kingdom Hearts license belongs to Disney. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it, and Nomura doesn't get a say.
Wow.
Disney owns the rights.
Yep.
It is a co-production of Square Enix and Disney Interactive Media Group. It is developed and published by Square Enix and distributed by Disney Interactive. Almost all of the team that is making the game, though, at least the original one, we have, Sakaguchi, executive producer, Shinji Hashimoto producing, Kitase is co-producer, and Nomura is director and concept designer, and we have Yoko Shimomura doing the music from Street Fighter to Mario RPG. She's very famous in the music scene, but the goals included an action RPG with stylized characters, instant pleasure, a comfortable longevity, and a simple story.
This was the simple version they went with?
They said this is the simple story. I mean, the core plot initially pitched: Maleficent would capture the princesses from different worlds and lock them in a place. In order to steal their pure hearts, our hero would travel through the worlds and bring the princes with them to fight the Dragon Witch, which I think would be much more interesting, bringing Aladdin with you rather than he stays in Agrabah.
Well, a party member, which you can actually take with you throughout the entire game.
One side effect of that is whenever you go to a world, I would never use a guest character. I need to level up Donald and Goofy, the ones that stick with you.
Right.
I'm not an idiot.
They immediately make them moot. It's not good game design. It's not even relatively okay.
Think about how much work went in behind the scenes to make Tarzan a cool character, and everyone's like, nope.
I played with all the characters. I just flip-flopped Goofy and Donald every time I went to a new one. I always wanted to play with the characters because I'm a Disney fanboy.
But let's be honest, though. At least in the first game, those characters weren't doing much of anything.
No, but I
even
never,
in the third game,
I never think Donald. Yeah, I never think Donald and Goofy really do anything other than use my potions anyway.
And shout the same shit
like
over and over.
If they heal me, I'm like, good job.
You did what you were supposed to? Great.
And then when you don't heal me and you're sitting there with a full MP bar, and I was like, Donald, the fuck are you doing?
Honestly, it's like me because I was a healer in Final Fantasy 14, but sometimes I would play drunk really late at night after even getting back from the podcast, and it would just be people like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, I don't know, here. And they'd be like, what the fucking hell, dude? Why aren't you paying attention? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I had like 15 beers tonight. It's fine. Screw it. Donald and Goofy are just drunk idiots.
When I replayed Kingdom Hearts 3, every time Donald and Goofy were on screen making comments about stuff, I'm like, I could eat this shit up all day.
Why?
Donald just being like an ornery little Donald. He's like cute and he's angry, which
he's
always
not cute.
It works.
He looks like a pervert,
dude. It works on me. And
with like that elaborate suit, and then he still has the gall not to wear pants.
If you can have Goofy being like, it's like when you were trapped in the data world, Sora. If you could have Goofy explaining the plot of Kingdom,
Goofy is fine.
You don't like so you like Goofy, but you are against Donald.
I'm fine with Donald doing everything else, but look at his stupid, shitty beret and his elaborate costume, but he yet still refuses to wear pants. This has look at the coat length on that. Man. Yeah, but I don't care. Does Goofy always wear pants?
Yes.
Can each of us name a cool character trait of Donald Duck?
Great at finding ingredients. No, I don't. I mean, I think
it's like when I ask people whether or not Qui-Gon Jinn is a good character.
No, dude, I don't know.
Like, why?
Dude,
because he's Liam Neeson.
Donald Duck has way more character traits than Qui-Gon Jinn.
I don't believe that.
No, Donald Duck, he's ornery. He's quick-tempered.
What's his motivation?
What's friendship?
I fucking hate that.
No, he does.
Friendship and loyalty to the king.
The trio's friendship.
Why is he loyal to the king?
The trio's friendship throughout the series, because he's the court magician.
That is not a trait.
Did you play Dream Drop Distance and see them in the Three Musketeers world? Because they went through a lot of trials and tribulations.
Was that an actual prequel?
No, that was a sequel. That was right before 3.
No, was that a prequel world?
It was, yeah. It's like what they were up to before they all like became where they were.
So they were Musketeers?
They were. They went into the Three Musketeers world. Yeah.
I do.
No,
like
I
that
know,
movie.
but like,
Did they go to the Three Amigos world?
No.
Oh, that would have been great.
yeah, they say a lot of weird off-color things that don't fly.
Yeah,
But
and I
no.
bet you if that had happened, you would like Donald Duck all of a sudden.
All right.
I wouldn't like
Let's
Donald Duck.
bring it back here. Originally, Maleficent was the core villain. Kazushige Nojima, of course, one of the main writers of all of the Final Fantasy games, at least the modern ones from the PS1 on. Mm-hmm. He threw out the princes and he added Ansem and the End of the World, bringing very much a Square-style big RPG story to it. Early designs of the game, originally possible to fight in a first-person view, which sounds fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Sounds disgusting and vomit-inducing.
Oh, have you guys played the VR experience?
Yeah, it's not terrible.
I know, but could you imagine that all the time?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't be playable and it wouldn't be fun. Tarzan was almost Jungle Book, but the team said, please, please, please let it be Tarzan. A lot of Phil Collins fans.
They just really were trying to court Rosie O'Donnell.
A big problem for the animators is trying to reimagine classic 2D characters into a like 3D PS2
Yeah.
world, which like,
Yeah.
you know, you think about the way Tarzan
wasn't
looks,
cel
it's
shading.
very specific. You think about the way Aladdin looks, they have a certain style, and to make a 3D model that can embody how those feel, I can see the difficulty there.
I think at the time, I think they got the pass on this. However, now even when you play these remasters, the dumb way that everyone looks at each other in these video games with no life in their eyes, I understand what it was. They look at each other like hollow dolls, just ready to be slapped against each other to fuck, like Barbie dolls. It's just like Tarzan looks like he's got like his eyes shoot in 2 different directions, and you're just like, oh man. What's the name of the hunter from that movie?
Clayton.
He looks.
Is that why the villain is actually a chameleon? Because their eyes are always...
They're like, we can't animate something with eyes. What about a chameleon?
That's a bit of depth I wouldn't expect, but hey, if it works.
Speaking of Tarzan, let's talk about some of the rights issues. So, I mean,
Oh God.
it's like when you start up a Kingdom Hearts game, there's an extra screen where it's
Yeah.
like,
It's
Alice in
specific-
Wonderland
yeah.
is a Lewis Carroll book. Den Lil Havfru, The Little Mermaid is Hans Christian Andersen. Tarzan of the Apes is a novel by Edgar Rice Burroughs. They had to work with the Tarzan owners, the Rice Burroughs family. So this is just for
Really,
the first
it's
game.
public domain.
The movie was based on that novel, and the rights that were signed for that movie, they had to follow. Okay, these specific rules were laid down. You want Tarzan in your game? This is what has to happen.
I'm tying a noose right now, everyone.
His image must appear strong, energetic, clean-shaven, and in superb physical condition. No 5 o'clock shadow for this guy. He lives in a fucking jungle with apes. Tarzan rule number 1. Tarzan rule number 2. Under no circumstances shall Tarzan be portrayed as losing life or limb or as suffering any permanent physical or mental disability. And he must not be shown to be insensitive to the sanctity of marriage, religion, or the home.
Tarzan takes sacrament.
It's
Son of Christ, Tarzan accept.
It's still amazing. I mean, when you think about it, what Kingdom Hearts has done for Mickey Mouse is insane. Mickey Mouse went from something that I thought wasn't cool. By the Kingdom Hearts 2 and Mickey showed up, I'm like, fuck yeah, Mickey's
Never watched
here.
Merry Melodies?
I mean, I watched Disney stuff growing up, but eventually
Shit's still cool.
there was a point in my like teenage years where I'm like, I'm not into it anymore.
No, I'm just the child of this group.
I always have been.
I know that Disney has always had trouble with that like young male demographic. Targeting them with their movies or their shows.
Yeah.
They don't do great with it. And Kingdom Hearts,
No, they actually do quite well. The problem is that they underestimate. Chicken Little. Mm-hmm. Think about that.
Zach Braff.
Exactly. Well, and then think about Tangled. It was originally supposed to be called Rapunzel. They said, nah. No one's going to watch a movie called Rapunzel. Well, they watched movies called Little Mermaid.
Yeah, but
Like-
I just pretended that I didn't want to watch it, but I let my sister pick the movie, so I just had to watch it.
But that's how
We
you
shouldn't
sneak
watch
into
Mary
it.
Kate and Ashley Mysteries again.
No.
Please pick
For the 5th time today.
Please pick it.
You had to find an inroad to all these things as a male, but I don't know. My mom was super cool. Let's just put it out there.
Well,
Tammy,
and
love you.
I think that they did make some movies that were kind of more geared towards males, but they didn't have the same numbers as some of their other things.
Well, truth be told, is that so? This is some real insider information about the animation world because I took animation classes in college. One of the teachers there was a keyframe animator. In the
Keyblade animator?
Keyframe.
He animated the Keyblade in Little Mermaid.
And so
it's the crab claw Keyblade.
Towards the end of the 90s, basically Disney was like, oh, we've been so successful with our little renaissance here. And the directors who they had as staples kept being like, well, we want to create our like weird like little passion projects. And they kept saying, no, just another one of our little weird ones.
We're putting a boner in the Little Mermaid, whether you like it or not.
Oh, God, yeah, they did do that, didn't they?
And then the decision came to make something like Treasure Planet. And Treasure Planet was a passion project for the directors who did Little Mermaid, The Great Mouse Detective.
Yes.
Now, finally, we get to do whatever the hell we want. And the moment they got revved up and let loose, completely tanked the 2D animation industry.
I will say that I don't know if Disney gave them enough backing promotion-wise.
No, they did not.
They had zero faith, and then it was a self-fulfilling prophecy from Disney.
But think about it this way. These were specifically geared towards the young male audience. And what they realized pretty quickly after this is that they had to find this homogenous middle ground that they could never escape afterwards. Because even if they called like Frozen the Ice Queen, these little boys,
so I can't watch it.
It turns out gender identity is much more fluid, though, too. And I think that...
but toy stores are still separated by boy and girl.
It is a shame.
It is a shame, but it's also just a fact of our culture.
It should be owned by Disney and then one other aisle.
What's cool about Kingdom Hearts, though, is that Kingdom Hearts actually, by being sort of anime and action focused, it actually pulls a lot of this shit together in a way that I think, even if you were a 12-year-old boy, Brad was probably 13 when this came out.
Yeah.
And I was 12. But the moment you see like this cool weapon and you see someone like whacking people over the head with it, and then you see the Disney worlds and stuff, you can say to yourself, well, this justifies the purchase.
Some other things. Disney vetoed the use of Mickey Mouse. Nomura had to fight to get him in there.
And this wasn't like a lawsuit thing, right?
No.
It was just they wanted to see if they could do something with the Disney property, right?
By all accounts, Disney is very amicable with Nomura, but they just straight up like, you can't do this, you can't do this.
There are rules for Mickey.
There are rules for all of their stuff, but
Mickey can't be certain things within any property.
That is a very lucrative fucking mouse. But they had permission after Nomura fought to use him as an agitator in a crowd. In other words, he could only be used in such an emblematic way that he would outshine everything else on screen, which they used...
That final cutscene,
which they had to make 0.2 a fragmentary passage to describe why Mickey Mouse isn't wearing a shirt in that scene. It's because it got ripped off in a fight that he and Aqua were having in the darkness realm.
I thought it was just because he was
fucking ripped.
Yeah,
he is a slut.
I just got done fucking, guys.
There's another kind of important aspect of before the game came out, and Nomura really fought to have Hikaru Utada do the song, the main theme for the game. And I put down she's kind of a big deal. He was told many times this wouldn't happen. Now, her first album came out at the age of 13.
Whoa.
Her first Japanese album, which was called First Love, to this day holds the all-time record sales for most albums sold in Japan. She was 15 at the time. So she's legitimately one of the biggest musicians in all of Japan.
She's Japan's Shakira then.
She's Japan's Miley Cyrus, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera.
She's Japan's Hikaru Utada.
Yeah. I guess that makes more sense.
She's her own shit.
I mean, and not like American pop stars. Hikaru Utada, at 17 years old, for this game, she composed the music and wrote the lyrics for Simple and Clean. She is legitimately a musician. And she wrote all of the songs that have been the theme songs for Kingdom Hearts herself. The first one, she was shown some like loose imagery and she knew what it was about a little bit. So maybe Simple and Clean doesn't as much relate back to what's on screen.
Now, Simple and Clean played on Japanese radio and it did extremely well. but it's a slower version. And it's actually a ballad that I think she wrote on her own before this. I honestly do not believe for a millisecond she wrote it for Kingdom Hearts.
Well, I mean, there's a moment in the game where Goofy and Donald betray Sora. And then when they were walking away, I could hear them say, please, baby, don't go.
We're not doing this.
You're right. Like this song doesn't relate back to anything in the game, in my opinion. Okay, Kyrie's away from Sora, and Sora loves her. They don't hold hands until 3, though.
Dude, have you actually listened to the lyrics of Simple and Clean? It's literally about a person in a relationship with a man, and the man is like, listen, the world isn't what you think it is. You can think however you want to, and I'm going to tell you that nothing is quite what you feel it is. Do I have to get your father's approval? No. Do I have to do all this? No. That's literally what it is about. It's called Simple and Clean is the way that you're making me feel. It's like fresh and different.
Less complicated. I don't feel dirty. Like the world is straightforward, but I'm with you. And that's how I feel about Donald.
I always took it as the way that Sora feels for Kyrie.
No, it's there's no thematic through line with it.
It's more a tone poem for the series. It's just like evocative.
Tone poem is a great word for it, Brad.
Yeah.
And it's also poppy, and that fucking rip roaring kind of like dance beat that they have behind that opening.
There was, at this point of my life, Rancid, Dropkick Murphys. I was fucking diving deep into, I am this kind of a person. I like punk music, I like skateboarding. Mm-hmm. I also had mixed CDs with like Simple and Clean because I couldn't deny it. It is such a fucking good bop.
It's a banger.
We're going to round out this game with some wonderful voices. Disney is, of course, very good at getting some voice actors to return. You have the original, you have the voice actors for Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Winnie the Pooh, countless others. Alice in Wonderland actress Catherine Beaumont is the same from the original movie, coming back to voice Alice.
She's gonna be like
she died shortly
80
after.
years old at that point. Right?
And they only had the money for one game to get Billy Zane as Ansem. They couldn't get the bucks to get Billy Zane back for 2, so... I know, and that's really when the series fell apart after Billy Zane left. And of course, we can't forget
Billy Zane. Gonna put it out there. He looks great bald. Keep balding, Billy Zane.
And we cannot forget to mention Lance Bass as Sephiroth. Okay, one last thing before we head to our break here. Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within did come out before Kingdom Hearts 1. We know what happened with that movie. It was the biggest financial bomb. It hurt Squaresoft more than anything in the world. It affected everything that happened with Squaresoft then on. From that point, every game needed to become a possible franchise. We need to think about how we can take everything and maximize money. We need release dates. We need to be worried about every year when things come out because we need a trailer this year. We need to get our sales up. We need to get investors excited. The Spirits Within is always in the background of every Squaresoft game after it comes out, and that's why they became Square Enix. And at this point, they're like, what can Kingdom Hearts provide? And we're going to take a quick break to hear from some of the other amazing shows from the Greenlit Podcast Network. We'll be right back. I have to go to the world that never was and take a dump, grab a few beers.
The land of departure, I think, is what they call that.
That would not be a good place to find some ingredients. All right. We'll be right back.
Fans of video games, history, or video game history will definitely want to listen to Retronauts. Each week, Bob Mackey and myself, that's Jeremy Parrish, dive into the stories behind the greatest games of the past and the history behind the hits of today. Check us out every Monday on the Greenlit Podcast Network.
Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho, literary analysis, comparative localization, JoJo references. The works of Yoshihiro Togashi hold a specific kind of magic, and the people who seek to examine their roots and spiritual descendants are known as the Spirit Hunters, available on the Greenlit Podcast Network.
All of the nobodies are somebodies now, and now some of them are back to being nobodies?
Well, after a nobody is defeated, they return to their
regular body.
The regular body.
And become a somebody.
Which you just pointed out a major plot hole for Kingdom Hearts 2, which we'll talk about in our next episode.
Yeah.
Wait, this series has a ton of plot holes?
Kingdom Hearts 1 came out for the PlayStation 2 in Japan on March 28th, 2002, and it landed in America September 17th, 2002. At the end of that year, Kingdom Hearts sold around 850,000 copies in Japan. It was the third top-selling game of the year for PlayStation 2 and fourth across all platforms.
That is not bad for the time.
In the U.S., it was Squaresoft's most sold game of all time, surpassing every Final Fantasy game at that time.
Wow.
To this day,
Disney is huge in
Even
Japan.
7?
all of them.
Damn.
You have to understand how big Disney is in
No, I
Japan.
do. That's why I bought it. I hadn't played any. The first Final Fantasy game I have ever played was Advent Children, but the next one after
not a
that,
game.
It's kind of Kingdom Hearts, maybe.
is it not the one where you play as Vincent?
That's Dirge of Cerberus.
Oh, that's the one I'm talking about.
Do you even listen to the show?
Advent Children's the movie, dude.
The next Final Fantasy after that was the 7 remake.
To this day, it is the 10th best-selling game of all time on the PlayStation 2, totaling 6.4 million copies sold. So what I'd like to do for this game first is we can talk about the core gameplay mechanics, because everyone after this takes a lot of it, and then there's a tweak.
Yeah.
So
We're talking about Kingdom Hearts 1.
Kingdom
here.
Hearts 1, this beautiful game, third-person hack and slash. They say you have a party system. You're Sora with two people that are fucking useless on the team. Experience points, and you learn new abilities when you level. A lot of this stuff's pretty straightforward. Magic item abilities. And I have, since, back in the day, I'm like, this gameplay's amazing. Mm-hmm. And then Dylan made me play Bloodborne, and now I hate most gameplay in most games because I'm like, there's nothing here.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I do thank you. The problem, I think, though, is most people will play this on standard or proud mode, and they both suck. If you play on anything other than critical, you are not getting a challenge, and you are just there to watch Disney movies.
But that's the people who will play it. The main audience does not give a shit about that. You're not making an accessible, in-depth game that appeals to the people who are just going to be in this to be in this. Even if you wanted that challenge and you said to yourself, like, oh, this can be the new experience if I just boost the difficulty. At what point do you just go, well, fuck this shit then?
It's amazing still, though. Kingdom Hearts 3, when I recently played it, I found myself many times just fucking tapping X. And that's how a lot of the gameplay goes. I didn't hate it. Even Kingdom Hearts 1, the gameplay is flashy. The money and the magic stuff, all of the way it floats around, I don't know. It's pleasing to the eye the same way a casino game is pleasing to the eye. And I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying there's something there that keeps you there.
Its dodge mechanics are okay.
If you go back and play through Kingdom Hearts 1, it is aged. Like, the platforming has been bad through the whole system.
Try to get through Tarzan's. Like, it's like playing Croc.
This game is
first
not
Croc.
They think it's a platformer at some points, and it is not a platformer. Mm-mm. Every single Kingdom Hearts game, you are waiting until you get the glide, because the glide is the only way I like to travel through most worlds.
Yeah, you don't even get
You mean
that.
over 2/3 of the way through the game?
Yeah.
That's every single time, too, because even in the first one, it's not until you get to Captain Hook, which is like the second to last world. Yeah. And the same for Kingdom Hearts 3. I can't remember Kingdom Hearts 2, but fuck,
well, it's
man.
because he needed to learn Awakening. Dom, you fool.
It's got a simple magic system. I do appreciate the shortcut menu, things you like. I mean, mostly you're just going to be doing a lot of heal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Arrow!
You have your combos, you have air combos. There is more to it than people realize, but the problem is no one is ever challenged to learn it, and they never take the time to explain it. Mm-hmm. They'll give you a 4-hour tutorial for Roxas, and they'll never teach you what's actually cool about the game. They'll take a long time to teach you nothing. I'm currently editing a 30-minute long Kingdom Hearts 2 video for my side gig, which is for like a speedrunning channel. And they go into major detail about Kingdom Hearts 2 and all of the gameplay mechanics. There's a lot hidden in there that they don't ever talk about.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that there is a lot to these systems. But
I think that's why I like Birth by Sleep, because there is a lot of shit that you can customize and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it is literally just, for the first Kingdom Hearts, just slapping that X button all day long, and that's it.
And they did manage in that first game to get by. I'm surprised they they did as well as they did. Okay, Destiny Islands is a fine tutorial world. It's straightforward. You collect your coconuts. Your character longs for something.
No, are you kidding? You collect planks of wood too,
Well, yeah, but okay.
Well, you also have to get a
and
sheet or
food
whatever.
for your. Well, I mean that's the coconuts, but
You long for adventure. Your friend has emo hair, and you both like a girl. I was there. I was 12.
Yeah, dude, this is the game for when it came out for the three of us.
idiots.
And then Traverse Town is fine. I remember getting to Traverse Town and I was like, I'm barely here, but I'm here. And then Alice in Wonderland is the most obtuse first world to start with. To me, like a puzzle world where they don't explain what you're supposed to do next is not the thing to do next.
it's not okay.
No, it's not okay. Go to Aladdin. Everyone knows Aladdin
would have
hit,
been a great-
hit. Explore, meet a character. Alice in Wonderland bothers me every time I play through Kingdom Hearts 1 because it doesn't go with the flow that I need for the game.
As a person who likes Disney, I was just there for the ride.
And one pill makes you goofy, and
The
one pill makes you.
Don. Don is his friend. The name that friends use. They call him Don.
Yeah.
Do they?
Donnie, baby.
Sora and him
Look at
have
this,
a professional relationship.
Look at this, Donnie. They bring his pants again to the bar. Everyone. Oh, I'm Donald.
Donald, he'll drink anything.
This might be a nice place to find some prostitutes. If I could do a Donald voice, we would.
I know.
Okay, so I mean, the gameplay it's fairly what it is. There's also some summons, which I don't think people really wind up using. They kind of slow gameplay down, and they're not worth the time. But I mean, there are summons there. You have equipment. You have keyblades. Synthesis. You do create some items. You collect stuff that is a replayable, like. They added some extra like end game content where you can beat the game, but you also have to go collect these items from certain enemies to create the ultimate weapon. I don't mind that. I do like that part of the games. I'm trying to avoid getting to the part that's going to make me upset, and that's the gummy ship.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
The gummy ship has been completely bad until 3, and it still doesn't belong in 3. Birth by Sleep.
They don't have it.
Oh, yeah.
They literally surf on their fucking keyblades.
Which is very cool.
Super cool.
That's
Well,
fucking rad.
in Dream Drop
Yeah.
Distance, you have a free fall like skydive
and you
mini
just go
game.
through a portal?
Well,
Like-
Dream Drop Distance has some really cool stuff.
Okay.
Actually.
Fuck, I need to play it.
But
Goddamn.
until Kingdom Hearts 3, I will argue the gummy ship is not worth it. It's what it is bad explanations, and they don't properly teach you what's going on because they do give you like a huge starscape in 3. And I found out in my recent quest to obtain the ultimate weapon that you can take pictures of constellations to get more ships, but there's also hidden bosses. One is based off of another game, which I forget. I can see the gummy ship having a fun gameplay. They don't do it though.
No.
It becomes a rail shooter and a nuisance. And then the way that you're supposed to design gummy ships, I have never once enjoyed it or figured it out or made use of it.
I wonder if they just like want that third person aspect all throughout the game. And that's why they didn't decide to go to a like 2-dimensional bullet hell. Probably would have made those portions a lot more fun.
But it's design philosophy. Not until like, I hate to say it, but games like Nier and Nier Automata,
Yeah.
like, by changing perspectives for a lot of
It
people,
keeps it fresh.
It keeps it fresh. But here's the problem: when you're trying to sell a game to a lot of different people, if you start changing the perspective, it is going to confuse people. Think about this. Literally, when Mario 64 came out, they had to literally write a manual for older people who were playing the original Marios to be like, this is how 3D is going to work for you. And this is how you're going to do it. Because they knew for a fact that a lot of older people are just going to be like, well, fuck this new plane of existence. But it's true. That's why those stupid ones on the Wii and Wii U sold so well, is because they're just like, finally, the crap I'm used to.
The problem with the gummy ship and a major Nomurism, the gummy ship isn't integral to the story.
Nope.
You don't need it. You can skip it. You can have a Mario 3 map. You can just like cycle between worlds and no one would have cared. Instead, you made this system where something has to happen. And something that he does in every Kingdom Hearts game, it's not enough to have an action RPG battle system. I need mini games. I need mini games. I need mini games. And you know what? I need some more mini games. They're not necessary. This one we're only going to use once, but I need it fucking in there.
This was the trend of the time, though.
Well, dude, every Kingdom Hearts game outside of Chain of Memories, maybe 358 Days Over 2. That I don't ever played it, but he's obsessed with like different little gameplay options, and I get it. It's fun sometimes, and it's not bad all the time, but it's superfluous almost every time. And the gummy ship has never worked for me.
Yeah, when there's like, you go into the, oh no, Winnie the Pooh, I'm not on the cover of the Winnie the Pooh book, I gotta go in there. And then you go in there and it's just fucking, I need to play Peggle.
Peggle's fun, though.
Not in this game.
No, I know.
Why am I playing Peggle right now?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I still play Peggle.
You've made
because
like
you want to play Peggle.
No, but Kingdom Hearts has made like 3 mobile games and a browser game. You didn't put Peggle on one of, like, they probably did, but like, just keep it on my console game.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just Dum Dum Breakout.
I don't need to collect fucking vegetables with rabbit.
Some other exploration things that were included in the first game. You have Trinity Marks, you have 99 Dalmatians, and the mushroom trophies.
That was kind of fun. I think I remember having a good time trying to find the Dalmatians and the Trinity things.
We're not going to go too much into it. There were some cool optional boss battles. There's Sephiroth, Kurt Zisa, which was a fan who won a contest to get his name in the game, the Phantom and Ice Titan. We are not going to list all the worlds in these games. If we want to another time down the road, but otherwise we'll only mention worlds worth mentioning.
You can't be serious.
It probably means they split this world in 2. Your friends in one world, us in the other. Only one of the worlds is real, and the other is just really convincing.
You can't be serious.
When's Sora
Goofy,
gonna come here?
It's Semnis, the nobody of Ansem. You can't be serious, Sora. Buzz Lightyear's had enough of your shit, Sora.
You can't be serious.
The title meaning of this game, Kingdom Hearts, is the heart of all worlds. It's an almighty entity of incredible power and untold wisdom formed from an aggregation of hearts. Essentially, it's a MacGuffin.
Is it?
Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories was a Game Boy Advance game.
Oh, hell yeah. I actually really like this game.
It's also the boldest choice.
I know, but this is my first deck building game I've ever played. And I will tell you this, if you are a person out there who has only played the remastered version of this game, it fucking sucks.
It's not great.
The 3D one.
This one's a turn-based, my card against your card. In the new one, it's just like every time you swing your Keyblade, it's using a card. So you can blast through your deck in like a minute.
I don't know a good way to put it other than this game was designed for the Game Boy Advance. And it is aesthetically pleasing. It's a fucking powerhouse. What they made for the Game Boy Advance, that opening cinematic with the music, they even have dialogue. I watched it recently on my computer. I'm like, holy shit, that is not something you see on the Game Boy Advance.
Nope.
And what I think, like,
it was $40. What were you gonna do?
Well, the cinematic for it, I think, is half the cartridge. Like, it's that intense.
And I'm sure they have an end cinematic that probably takes up the other third of it.
And it's just a garbage scene that Nomura's like, I thought of a lady talking to a child, Sora. We don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Chain of Memories came out in Japan 11/11/2002, America 12/7. This was developed by Jupiter. Their next game after this would be The World Ends With You, which you can see some of that DNA in there. To make the sequel interesting for new players, Sora would have to lose his powers. How would he lose it? A GBA card game, of course. And he was also told that kids wanted to play Kingdom Hearts on their Game Boy. And that's what Nomura said why this game was made.
It is a rehash of the first one.
It's called Chain of Memories. All the great memories you've had in one game.
But story-wise, it does make sense because he has to lose his memories and retrace them.
All of these games have another game that comes after it that's like, remember when we did this? Memories, hearts, love.
It is funny that they want you to link all of these games together, but amnesia is a huge linchpin to all of them as well.
Well, you know what's great is that it's a story point for many characters, and it also happens with every fucking person playing the games because the story is so gobbledygook. Yeah,
it's horseshit.
Roxas had amnesia. Me too, bitch. I don't remember what happened in Chain of Memories. There was a Riku replica. Made by Vexen? Are you kidding?
You can't be serious.
I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up about it.
Yeah, no, we understand.
Yeah.
We understand.
But Chain of Memories is a fucking great Game Boy Advance game.
It is. It really is.
It's unique.
It's a good video game.
For Game Boy Advance, it is, I think...
I've played it. It's a good video game.
It's exciting in the way that...
I think it's better than Kingdom Hearts 1.
I think something that is often overlooked in Kingdom Hearts game because the final mix things fucking ruined it. Well, they didn't ruin it, but they don't implement it.
Right.
Chain of Memories had multiplayer.
What?
Oh, what?
Link cables allowed for 1v1 battles.
Oh, it did, yeah. So when I bought this game, I went out and bought a DS, the original DS, because it had the Game Boy Advanced Link. I think that I didn't want to play this with my brother because I was like,
if he'd be,
it was right around that time where like you think your brother's the stupidest person of all time. So I don't think that anymore. Obviously, he's the coolest person I know.
You are in the darkness.
I never traded Pokemon with him. I never did that. I think this was around that time where I was just like, I don't want to put a link cable up to your Game Boy Advance. Like you
didn't give your brother a Mew 3?
Well, dude, I bought him like Legend of Zelda Ages and Seasons, and he didn't even play it. So I was like, I guess I'll just play him for you.
Well, that's kind of horseshit.
Look what Chain of Memories did, though. This case is shiny.
It's cool as shit.
Shiny catches.
Look at how cool Goofy looks in that card. He
does.
actually looks kind of cool.
He's ready to fuck.
Yeah, look at how...
And Donald's like...
Yeah, Donald kind of looks cool, too.
If you tell me to wear pants one more time, he's saying...
Yeah. And look at how boring Kairi always looks.
Well, I mean...
Kairi...
She makes milquetoast look exciting. So this was remade for PlayStation 2 in 2007. The remake I have beaten once, and I thought it was a big waste of time, like you mentioned. But
yeah, I got caught on Larkscene, and I was like, this game sucks.
Kingdom Hearts 2 for the PlayStation 2. This was released in 2005, December 22nd, and in USA it landed on March 28th. It was a redesigned engine and combat system. Goals were less platforming and lower difficulty, surprising. The first one wasn't even tough. Nomura wanted a world set in a live-action film. Disney turned down his original idea and offered a list, and that's where Pirates of the Caribbean was chosen from. It has been suggested and hinted by many people that originally Nomura wanted to use Roger Rabbit.
Oh, God, fuck me. Yes.
That's essentially what this game is, though. Is the Roger Rabbit world.
Yes.
You know, all of these things like amalgamated into one.
Just imagine Bob Hoskins talking to Sora.
Detective Valiant, thank you.
Oh, yes, him as well. He's there. There was quite a few unique additions to gameplay here. Reaction commands, unique spots to like hit triangle, which doesn't add a lot, but it is a subtle addition where like certain enemies have certain things you can do. The drive gauge is one of the biggest ones. You can transform Sora into a drive form, which there is, Valor, Wisdom, Limit, Master. They all play different. They have different movement, different attacks. These are also things that are, I feel, poorly explained and underutilized because the game is too easy. And there is a great toolbox made for this game. There is an amazing toolbox that nobody understands because it's not taught, and it's honestly, sadly under-implemented because it is there. There's even a concept like revenge value where certain bosses, if you attack them in like strong attacks enough times in a row, they will respond in like larger ways. Like they'll do like their limit breaks sooner. There's a lot of hidden stuff happening behind the scenes.
So this also, like, game design elements and this type of philosophy and stuff like that. Brad's saying, like, there's so many hidden elements. The hidden elements are supposed to be what you're paying attention to and what you can actually glean. If you can't see anything from them, then it's not important whatsoever. A good example is, in most first-person shooters, the last 5 bullets of your clip in any weapon deal a little bit more damage than all the other ones, because they want you to feel like if you can get those last few hits in before a boss and then the boss dies or whatever, you get that satisfaction, that click, that adjustment, that dopamine hit.
They don't design that.
No.
Instead, there is people that did design a deep combat system that never needs to be used. And that is its biggest crime.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's the biggest crime.
I didn't even know about it, and I still think it's a shame.
I even beat it on critical mode, and I barely had to use a lot of it, and that's like ultra hard.
Yeah,
and that is a problem. And then all of a sudden they'll just release, all right, we're dropping Omega difficult boss, which jumps from like 2 to 10 in the difficulty, because everything else before was 2 to 3, and then they just release. Like the DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, it's 8, 9, and 10 compared to everything else, which is like a 4. And it's strange how they don't have any sort of in-between ground for a lot of that. It's a problem, in my opinion. Some other stuff about Kingdom Hearts 2. They fixed the gummy ship so it plays better. Okay. That's what they said anyways.
Well,
debatable.
It is better, but I mean, how polished can you polish a turd, you know?
If you freeze it, quite a bit. That's a Stanley Kubrick quote. They took out Trinity Marks and Dalmatians. There was specific changes that Disney did not allow for the United States version of Kingdom Hearts 2. Daisy was not allowed to beat the shit out of Donald when he pissed her off.
They have a version where Daisy's slaps Donald.
She's like beating him like over the head.
I hate to say this.
Daisy always
They
does,
took
though.
that out because Americans wouldn't like it?
It wasn't allowed in the American version. Instead, she just verbally abuses him, which is equally bad in my opinion.
That's still abuse.
Yeah.
But it also gets you real hard.
Well,
in Port Royal, Pirates of the Caribbean, no guns allowed.
damn, even that?
It was all crossbows. There's a scene in the Japanese one where Will is threatening to kill himself, and he's just saying he'll do it without a gun to his head in the American version.
He's got a sword.
It's not even a sword. He's just standing there like, I'll do it.
I
What?
need to replay this game.
I'll do it, I swear.
Watch me, I'll do it. Do what? I'll
Don't
do
send
it.
me- don't send me to a facility.
And they just Rick rolls everybody. Zigbar isn't using a sniper rifle as well. They gave him some other sort of projectiles.
Is it not the crossbow pew pew things that he has?
It's more that
normally?
at one point his desperation attack turns into a big crossbow where it'd be like it's very clearly a sniper rifle. Instead, they made it much more goofy, silly. Yeah. There were secret bosses. After the release, Nomura realized there wasn't enough connecting it to the next episodes. He wanted a final mix, but Square was not interested, so we pitched a Chain of Memories port to make it more enticing as a tie-in. So that port we talked about is Hot Garbo.
Yeah, it's not good.
At this point, I did want to mention a little bit about the clusterfuck at Square. So they're still feeling the fallout from Spirits Within. Yoichi Wada became president after the merger with Enix. Final Fantasy XII was delayed until 2006, causing a lot of financial strain.
Oh my God, did
bet.
it? And it didn't sell nearly as well.
Around this time, Nomura's
That's the one with the bunny ear girl, right?
Yeah, Fran.
Era?
Fran.
Okay. Yeah.
The art design on all these games, I know exactly which one's which.
I love that style of Ivalice, though. That is a great art style.
The problem is that they called it like the Ivalice Alliance. They were trying to make their own little like subset of things, and the fact that they were immediately promoting 12 as that meant that they were excluding a bunch of other people, almost as if it was like a secret club. And the truth is that there wasn't a lot to see. Even if you had just played 12, you would have known.
Around this time, Nomura's workload included Birth by Sleep, The World Ends With You, Final Fantasy VII Advent
He
Children.
didn't do much on The World Ends With You.
He was involved, though.
Yeah.
He was
was.
producing. He was making character design choices.
I get that, Dylan. I know you like to shit on this guy, but when you're doing fucking 8 different video games at once, your brain probably just fucking...
I know.
That the book that I gave you made me respect Nomura so much because this dude is a workhorse. And he is designing a mad amount.
I'm not giving him credit for that. The problem is that it is not just an imperative on the person who's working for your company to not be spread this thin. But have you guys seen Neku from The World Ends With You?
Sick headphones. I play Dream Drop.
He's Roxas. He's more Roxas than Sora. At the same time, there's 8 other characters in the Kingdom Hearts world that look like Roxas.
One time he's like, I got to create a new character.
Vanitas.
Can you use Roxas again?
Yeah.
Vanitas, can you just use Sora again? We'll make a story beat. It's fine.
Yeah.
But, okay, so Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, intimately involved. He also did a lot of the motion capture for Kuja? Not Kuja.
Kadaj.
Yeah,
Thank you.
He was doing the motion capture for that. Also, doing a lot of the directing. Not the directing, but like a lot of the work. Final Fantasy VII Last Order, an anime that he was helping produce
It's
at
a
the time.
very good anime, by the way.
Dirge of Cerberus he was involved with. Crisis Core Dissidia, which is based off a rejected Versus mode from Kingdom Hearts 2.
Dissidia, the first one, is a very good video.
And at this point, he is starting to plan for Versus 13 and helping to design characters for 13. He was very busy for like a couple years. And also people are starting to make demands like, we need Kingdom Hearts 3. And also, Square has enough time and team to like focus intensely on a couple of games. And 12 gets delayed, so 12 gets more time and people. 13 is happening, 13 gets delayed. All of his team gets pulled to certain other things. So he has this extra time where he has to, okay, I have a small number of people that I consider my team. I need to keep them busy or they'll be poached and stolen to do other things. I guess let's do a Nintendo DS game. Someone has a great idea for a PSP game, and I know some people at this part of town that are like excited to work on it. The fact that he is able to keep doing things for himself while also like doing all this other work is, I think it's fucking admirable, and I'm very impressed.
Kingdom Hearts 1, highest selling game over Final Fantasy. I know that Disney had a lot to do with that, but like just the property of Disney itself.
Yeah,
it speaks volumes to the fact that it was a good idea, and he had it, and he went with it, and that's why I think they're giving him those opportunities.
If he wasn't there, we would have possibly a Donald Duck starring RPG from Square, which would be probably interesting and not nearly as good.
And there probably would only be one.
3 games were announced in 2007. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts Coded, and Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2.
Damn.
Also around this time, though, we have Kingdom...
these were what you just said, these are the 3 games that he was like, I can't have anyone poach my people, and this is what I've decided to come up with.
He was keeping Kingdom Hearts alive and busy as a franchise by the small teams that he knew and other like studios that he knew he could use. I can't make the next game yet, but we can do other things in the meantime.
Damn. Well, what I'm saying is like, Birth by Sleep is my favorite, and
358 Days Over 2.
Yeah, 358 Days Over 2. But also,
we're losing Dylan.
No, it's fine.
Also, this one?
Try Xanadil when you are getting lost in your podcast.
Oh, I'm not even lost.
Also,
I'm just
Dream
like,
Drop.
No,
right?
Dream Drop was later. Also,
Dream Drop was much later.
Oh, Coded.
Kingdom Hearts Coded was a mobile game that was meant to be like an amusement park with many different activities. The P-01A phone was ideal because it could be connected to a TV. Japanese phones were way advanced compared to ours at the time. Wasn't originally considered to be canon, but tied in near the end. It came out in 2008, December 18th in Japan. It did come to America in 2011 in a port for a console, but Coded and Days were both born partially because of needs from Nintendo and Disney. This might be why they weren't given tons of love in remixes, but Nintendo really wanted another Kingdom Hearts game, which was one of the reasons he's like, all right, we'll get something for the DS cooking.
I imagine that Infinity wasn't doing well.
Disney Infinity?
This was not Infinity at the time.
I don't know when Infinity came out.
No, Infinity. No.
Was Infinity?
The Toys to Life genre only really popped off 2013, 2014. After that,
Okay.
Infinity was that time period. So we're talking well before the Toys to Life genre.
Okay.
I can't speak much to the gameplay for the mobile phone. It doesn't look great.
No.
I watched like the final boss
It looks
battle.
like paper cut,
and
yeah.
it is very fucking rudimentary, and it looks like it's being played on a mobile phone. I've heard that the port of Coded is fine on the DS. I want to say is
I hear the DS.
the
one's okay.
Nintendo DS. Yeah,
I think when you get to the
No, just regular DS.
the Nintendo DS.
I think
Yeah.
the reason I didn't play this one was just because a friend of mine did, and I heard how it ended, and he was pissed off.
The lore
It's
is
another
very
retelling.
excited
Yeah.
because Sora's Heartless from the first game infects a journal, and who doesn't like infecting journals? The title meaning, the game takes place in a data universe. Pretty straightforward. There was also a separate Kingdom Hearts Mobile, is what it was called, released only in Japan with mini games, but we're not going to talk about that. Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2 was for the Nintendo DS, released in Japan 2009. This came out May 30th, and it came out in USA later, September 29th of that year. The concept, Nomura was unable to begin work on Versus 13 as 13 was way behind schedule, and this was supposed to be a spin-off.
It explains why it all sucks.
Rather than see his team reassigned to something else, he decided we're going to make this game. Was inspired by Dissidia and wanted a multiplayer aspect involving this game. A lot of people don't realize that this game was a multiplayer DS game that you could have up to 4 players. You can connect and play 4 players with different members of the organization 13 or some other characters as well.
Just 4?
There's a huge
That's
single
all
player
connect and
element,
connect,
but
yeah.
like with a DS 4 player,
There's no
that's
Wi-Fi.
Very impressive. 358 Days Over 2 was developed by Hand, H-A-N-D.
Can you explain the name for us, Bradley?
Sure. Well, the game takes place over 358 days and 2 different characters. Now, it's never been specifically said what 2 characters it was, but I mean, it was Roxas and Xion is who I'm going to go ahead and say. And it's one thing that is, I can see a benefit to having that title. When you start the game and you see the days adding up, you know 358 is when it ends. So I do like having a timer on a story because you can feel the impending finale.
Persona 5.
Yeah.
You know what?
What?
I'm a
do I-
Xion stan.
I'm excited to talk about Xion and the lore tomorrow.
Well, we will be.
because Xion's very interesting.
She's very interesting.
Well, Xion is a very gender-bending character too, which is fun. Everyone sees Xion differently, but
telling
so
ya.
there was a multiplayer mode, which is cool for this. They did have limit breaks for characters, which was each character had their own, but panels, which was the biggest thing, which you could customize levels, items, equipment, and abilities. It's hard to explain. You had like this many panels that could be connected, and you could create different scenarios where this spell would be increased by these items on the side, and you could do a lot of different work with the panels where like different things connected. That was most of what the gameplay was centered around was panels, but playable characters for this game included all of the organization: Xion, Riku, Donald, Goofy, King Siki, King Siki.
Siki,
He's
baby.
sick as fuck, dude.
True
King
blood, love
Mickey
it.
and Sora. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep came out for the PlayStation Portable, released in Japan 2010, January 9th, in USA in September 7th of that year. The development ending of
Can I
Kingdom
just say for a minute?
Yeah.
How fucking annoying it is to be like, and now there's a sequel on another thing you don't own yet. It is so I understand why it happened and how they had to do it.
It is ridiculous.
It's no. I keep saying the phrase "it's not okay." There has to be a shirt of me going, "It's not okay" at this point. But it's
Xanadil. It's not okay.
it's not okay. It's not okay. It isn't, because we were in high school, right before a lot of these things came out, and we were reading online on some fucking arcade1up.com or whatever, and he'd be like, I guess I have to buy a PlayStation Portable now. I'm like, why? Well, there's going to be a new Kingdom Hearts for that. And I'm like, why? I gotta see where this story's going. What story? Where are we going? What are we doing? I just don't.
Did you see my brother's notes?
Oh, I haven't been on the Discord in a while. So
my brother posted 3 pages of notes where he was trying to figure out some final videos.
It like handwritten notebook.
He still has it from back then.
Yeah.
It was fascinating.
He even has like all the 13 members, 14 technically, especially in this game, of all of the like their original organization names and then their regular names.
Brian, I've come to love you over this podcast, and I really have. And I know what it's like to love something. I loved Naruto. Oh my god,
this is an important aspect of Kingdom Hearts because
for Kingdom Hearts.
No. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, can I explain why I still love playing Kingdom Hearts 3? It's hard to pinpoint because the gameplay is not great.
I love this. No, keep going. Yeah.
This nostalgia plays a major factor, and I do enjoy revisiting worlds and stories that I know before.
Yeah.
The gameplay isn't challenging. I do enjoy it, though. It's hard to pinpoint what works so great about Kingdom Hearts, but it does. And I know it sounds maybe like we might be knocking it a bunch, but I still really enjoy it.
There's a reason we have played a lot of these.
There's a reason I've replayed a lot of them.
Yeah.
There is a reason that it's interesting. At least interesting, because if it weren't interesting, I wouldn't even be talking about it right now. It would have been it would have been like Diablo, where I absolutely 100% skipped it.
And even though I mean, just going into the Aladdin world and being able to interact with Aladdin and Jasmine and Apu, it's cool. Going to a Halloween town and seeing Jack Skellington, it's fun to just characters that you have feelings for and interacting with them, and then just seeing how Oogie Boogie interacts with Maleficent and how they're all part of a story. It's not poetry, but it's fun to see.
I just want to see what outfit I'm wearing when I go to the next world.
Hold on, we'll plan it right now.
What is Sora?
What is Sora going to look like when he goes into Monsters Inc. universe?
What is Sora's shoe size? These are important questions.
It's 47.
Because someone was waiting for him to grow bigger, and I don't think he ever made it.
No.
And his mom was not responsible.
We've never seen his mom. We don't know.
Kingdom Hearts: Birth by Sleep. The development ending of Kingdom Hearts 2. Nomura envisioned 3 characters in a Keyblade graveyard.
This is like the extra. This is the secret movie at the end of 2, right?
And yes, you don't know what it is, but there are just 3 armors meeting at a crossroads in a Keyblade graveyard, and you're like, I don't know what's going on here. But Nomura imagined this before anything else, and then he also imagined scenes of an unknown designating Riku, the inheritor of a Keyblade, and a female meeting children, like child versions of Sora and Riku, and that was just things that he saw. We need to work these in there. Multiple characters and perspectives were also considered and important. Unique additions to gameplay for Birth by Sleep. The command deck was a new addition, a way to customize techniques and abilities. Very fun gameplay. You can choose whatever your top spells are. It's almost like a versatile shortcut menu.
Yeah, and you just cycle through them. But the thing is, like, when you're playing it, if you know what the enemy is about to come at you with, you can just stand there and cycle through it and know exactly what you need to pick. But then the more you defeat the enemy, the better it like comes across the bottom, and the better your attacks become as well, that you just hit X with. And you have these like magnificent magic thing. It's really good. I can't explain it. I had it on my PSP ages ago.
Yeah, the worlds were designed to be a little more linear because you are playing through all the worlds with 3 different characters.
And there's some worlds that haven't been, as far as I know, I haven't played Fuck this.
No,
what the
I
fuck
mean-
is it called? This game called
358 Days Over 2 just recycles worlds. No, nothing new.
Okay, but this one had a couple of new ones, like
A lot of them.
like
They had
Cinderella, which I'm
Sleeping
surprised.
Beauty, Cinderella, Snow White, Deep Space from Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Yes.
forgot about that.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Which is it's a prologue. It's a prologue to Lilo and Stitch because this is what
Yeah.
happens with Stitch before he arrives in Hawaii.
Right. You break him out essentially.
And he doesn't even have the name Stitch yet. He's like
He's just exclusively 626.
experiment. Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Holy cow. Okay.
So yeah, you're playing as 3 different characters, but you play as like one all the way through. And you'll go through this character's story and then this character's story, but they all relate to each other in unique ways. So you have the command deck. You also have Dimension Link, which is a different form of drive gauge or a different form of summon, but because
That's what I'm talking about, the
don't
drive
really,
link,
You don't really have parties in this. You draw power from certain companions who the characters meet. So Aqua can have Cinderella be a drive link, and it'll give her more healing spells, different abilities. The drive links mostly form as like a drive form, or kind of what happens in Kingdom Hearts 3, where each weapon has a different kind of form change, where you'll gain different abilities through it. And then there's also the focus gauge, which there's not MP in this game, but you also have the ability to do shot lock, which is something that Nomura wanted for a while, which is like a first-person... It's not shooting, but it's kind of first-person shooting mode for the game where you aim at something...
And it
you have to
freeze
get
frames.
Freeze frames. You have to get a certain number of like hits on it.
Until it maxes out, and then you just let it fire.
And then you let it fire. Also, one other thing added in this was the command board. You never played Birth by Sleep, did you, Dylan?
No.
Never.
I think maybe the command board is what I'm talking about. I can't remember.
The
watched
command
a lot
board
of-
is Mario Party.
I've watched a lot of.
Is it the one that comes across like the bottom of the screen?
No, the command board is Mario Party,
Okay.
where you actually go to a board game and you play against characters.
Yeah, okay.
I've only ever watched like humorous video game summaries of this, so I don't really know.
Birth by Sleep?
Oh yeah, but there's a fantastic YouTuber called
Can
Klemps.
we-
Klemps is a very good YouTuber, and he summarized the entire story for me. He summarized it for me like years ago, and I said, I don't need to do this.
Can we talk about the fucking voice acting in this one?
Go for
It
it.
is stacked.
Mark Hamill.
Continue.
Mark Hamill
As Ericus.
is as Ericus. Leonard Nimoy, before he passed away, is Xehanort,
Yep.
Master Xehanort.
Yeah, the first time you get to like see old Xehanort talk.
You have Jesse McCartney as
Riku.
Ventus.
Ventus.
Oh, he's Ventus?
Yeah. Have you seen Veronica Mars?
Yeah.
So Kristen Bell, who may or may not be in the third one, she might be.
I think she might be returning.
playing. Yeah, but her quote unquote boyfriend in the series of Veronica Mars plays Tara.
Okay.
The girl who plays Speedy in the Arrowverse.
Holland.
Yeah, Willow. That's her name.
Willa.
She's Aqua.
Oh, Willa Holland?
Yeah. Like fucking stacked. And then obviously Nolan North is Zigbar.
Damn it, he is Zigbar,
Yeah.
isn't he? But it is stacked. There is a number of mini games in this, including Rumble Racing. There was Ice Cream Beat with Huey, Dewey, and Louie, where you had stack ice cream. That was actually a pretty good one. And then there was the Mirage Arena, but multiplayer mode. You could do 6 players for this game on the PSP. There was fucking multiplayer in this game. If you wanted to rumble race with your friends, nobody did. You could. If you wanted to go to the Mario Party game command board, you could. Some people probably did.
I'm sure some people did.
I actually liked the command board in the Final Mix version I played a fair amount. It was fine as far as half-baked board games in video games go. The title meeting, okay, Nomura, for the Birth by Sleep, he says, honestly, I just simply wanted to try using the word by in a title. I was told it was tough to do. Birth by Sleep, he wanted to use the word by. He wanted it contracted to be BBS for Bulletin Board System, and he wanted to use the word sleep.
It's all name conventions.
I-
They're all fucking name.
This is also simultaneously why I hate Nomura. It's just like, okay.
Dude's a workhorse. I don't know. I'm trying to hate
get
him,
it. No,
but
no,
I
no,
still
no, no,
want to
no.
buy him and play him.
I do not hate Tetsuya Nomura. There's nothing to hate about him. There are things to critique with any other art form.
Yeah, definitely.
if you can't see the art for the art itself, then you're not actually looking at the thing. You're looking at something beyond the thing. You're looking at the auteur. The art needs to exist beyond the person who made it.
Dude, Kingdom Hearts is fucking stupid.
It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid, but it's also stupid in a way that's
good.
But it's also fucking awesome, and I love it.
Yes.
I just remembered why I brought up the voice actors. Because when we were talking at Camino, I told you after Brad left to go to work that I wanted to play Birth by Sleep again. Because I remember it being really good.
Birth by Sleep is really good.
So I looked up the voice actors again. I was like, oh, I forgot that person was in it. Oh, I forgot that person was in it. But I remember looking it up at the time. Ariel Winters, who's the youngest daughter in Modern Family, plays the voice of young Kyrie.
Honestly, that's really fun. That's actually fucking cool.
And at that point, she was nobody. I don't think Modern Family was out yet.
Hey, listen, everyone had a little thing on their phone.
Had to do something, right? I don't think Willow. I think Willow was doing probably OC at the time.
Guys, I forgot to take my Xanadil. I have to go run and take it real quick. I'm going to be right back. I have to go take my Xanadil. Enjoy this commercial. We'll be right back. Do you think Semnis might have been right? Xanadil.
Have you ever been like this?
God, I wish I could come sometimes.
Then maybe try Xanadil.
Not approved by 9 out of 10 doctors.
Who's the one? Who is the one?
All right, everybody. So after we left the beauty that was Birth by Sleep, we have a little game called Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance for the Nintendo 3DS.
I don't know anything about this.
Neither do I.
So lay it on me. What's the gameplay like on this? Is it similar to Birth?
Honestly, it's probably one of my favorite entries in the Kingdom Hearts series.
Damn it, man.
You can borrow this if you want. It's on here.
I think, when did this come out? Brad, you probably have that, right?
Well, this came out in Japan, March 29th of 2012. It came out in America later that year, July 31st. The concept, Nomura had to kill more time before Kingdom Hearts 3 and waiting for Versus 13 before he could actually have his team and be working on a game because everything got delayed and pushed back. And eventually they said, fuck you, you're doing 7. He's like, oh my God. People make jokes that Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't come out for a long time. Nomura wanted to. He didn't have the team wasn't given the go-ahead.
Yeah. So, well, okay, so this makes sense. The reason I didn't play this is because I was in China.
Yes, and they don't allow video games there.
They didn't at the time. Yeah, I had to illegally have an Xbox that was modded so that I could play games for 10 cents, which was cool.
Nomura wanted to experiment with movement in this game, and he implemented the free flow system. So what was very poorly executed in 3 is brilliant for the 3DS.
The floaty bits.
It's just the floaty bits. It also takes place in dreams and in a sleep state. He's waking up sleeping world, so it's all like they're asleep. And a core aspect of this game is you play as both Sora and Riku, and there is a constant timer at the bottom. Well, you don't see it happening, but eventually you just get you have 2 minutes until you fall asleep or until you wake up, essentially, and it gets down and down. And at some point, no matter what you're doing, you can be in the middle of a boss fight, you switch from Sora to Riku or Riku to Sora, and you have to hopefully get through with what you're doing before you have to switch out. And it sounds like an obtuse gameplay element. I actually wound up really enjoying it. It was a fun system. You can't control sleeping and waking, and that's a core aspect of the game.
I was about to say I just had a revelation of having played 3, the power of awakening.
Yes,
you're asleep the whole time. Dream drop dreams,
and you're learning the power of waking. Is the point of that?
And obviously Riku figures it out.
You switch between characters, and it's kind of a forced thing. You get items later that where you can sleep longer, which you can do that in the real life. You get more Xanadil, you sleep longer. So that book I gave you to check out, The Legend of Kingdom Hearts Volume 1, the author describes Dream Drop Distance in the book like this: It was like Inception, but much more intelligent.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
I love that book. That guy loves
That
Nomura.
is not okay.
It's very funny.
There's a bit in 3 where I was like, is this Inception now?
Dream Drop Distance. I don't even like Inception, but I think it's got cool things. But
Competency.
Dream Drop Distance is the first Kingdom Hearts game that really introduces time travel, unfortunately. We're not going to talk about that. That's for the next episode. But just so you know, that's when
fuck me.
That's
no.
when young Xehanort comes to the future.
I know. I know.
It's a potion or
Do you
something.
think I didn't read? Well,
A major inspiration for Dream Drop Distance was Nintendogs.
What?
oh yeah.
Well, he thought it was great that you were able to like be walking by and see other people's Nintendogs. He liked that you could like pet your pets on the DS and interact kind of with a little thing. It's like a Tamagotchi, but a little more interactive. Dream Eaters. So you don't fight Heartless, you don't fight Unverse, you don't fight Nobodies. You fight Dream Eaters, which are the bad spirits. There's also good versions of them, and you can create more of them or collect them, and they become your party. And they also become who you like link with. So you can use certain Dream Eaters like the T-Rex or the Meow Wow have certain abilities that you can combine them. You can do different things with them. You feed them. You pet them.
Oh my God.
And you also battle them in a separate multiplayer system where you can like, it's a card-based system where you fight your Dream Eaters against each other.
Okay.
It's a very deep system.
It's also really bad.
Is this?
No, it's...
I haven't played it. I don't know. I have no opinion on this.
Sorry,
but is
I
this
As far as someone who's never played it and doesn't know what I'm talking about, there are really good things in this. I think that
You played Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
and I will tell you it's bad.
Yeah, but you still played it all the way through.
And I will.
Yeah,
and
but I also played Kingdom Hearts 3 all the way through.
Yes, but I played through a quarter of it, and I said no.
I can play through a bad game and tell you it's a bad game.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z was a bad game. Dream Drop Distance has a
put my
lot.
time into no.
No, I'm just saying Dream Drop Distance has a lot of fun, unique design elements, which I do appreciate. So there was also only in the 3DS version a thing called Reality Shift used in battles, which was the only thing I can compare it to is a WarioWare style minigame for battles. Different battles would have different things where it's like connect the enemies in certain shapes, and then Sora would do these shapes, or you'd like be taken to a comic book and you had to do certain interactions with them.
Wow.
This was not utilized in this version. It was only for the 3DS, but
Well, yeah, you can't really.
it doesn't. It doesn't translate. But
Unless they redid it for the Switch or whatever. But
I will
They
say,
wouldn't be able to.
I
no,
mean,
I know.
Dream Drop Distance is great. It has a very dreamy feel. The music is a little more, has a trancy sleepiness to it, which is great. Some of the worlds are fun. You go to the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You revisit Tron and go to Tron Legacy, which is really cool.
Ooh, Tron Legacy's cool.
Dream Drop Distance. Nomura said he wanted this to it takes place in a world submerged in sleep, so naturally dream. You drop off to sleep, so drop, and the distance between characters. Oh my God.
Nailed it.
Some of the worlds in Dream Drop Distance, I just wanted you to hear this, Dom. Hunchback of Notre Dame,
Okay.
Tron Legacy.
We've been there before. Well,
No, this is
not
the
Legacy.
this is the
Legacy.
new one.
Okay. So
And-
is Olivia Wilde in it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the movie,
Fuck. Okay.
the movie wasn't out yet, and the developers were so insistent on not pirating, they were running to the theater every day to go watch the movie with notepads. Pinocchio, The Country of the Three Musketeers,
Fantasia has technically been in 1 and 2.
but no, you actually go into the Symphony of Sorcery here. You go into the musical pages in Yensid's Tower, and you go into the world of Fantasia.
Okay, now that's cool.
Like Riku goes into one song and Sora goes into another song. You actually have to fight Chernobog. Fantasia is an amazing
You
world.
fight
in
hippos
this.
and tutus.
Yes.
Okay,
That's cool.
that's rad.
Damn. Are the mushrooms there?
Try Xanadu. And then, yeah, the secret boss is amazing in this. They have Julian, which is like a Pete knockoff from like a spin-off like cartoon from way back in the day. It's just an angry looking Pete with a Frankenstein head. It is not a gobbledygook Square Enix villain. It is the weirdest one-off Disney guy named Julian. And this is World Ends With
No,
You. Dream Drop
dude.
Distance is a very unique experience in the Kingdom Hearts.
The world ends
is
with
this
you.
the Mickey Zombie verse?
This is
now.
the secret boss. That's Julian.
That's him. Oh my God. Oh shit, dude. If Mickey Zombie, like
He is a vicious artificial monster. He first appeared in the Runaway Brain in 1995.
yes, that's what it's called. But it's a Mickey Zombie short.
At this point, Disney started creating their own Kingdom Hearts game. This was canceled. It was called Forgotten Keys or Fragmented Keys at different points. Around 2011, Disney started developing their own Kingdom Hearts game without Nomura, no involvement. Would be a mobile game starring Kairi, Returning Worlds, Alice in
that's
Wonderland,
exactly what
and a
I
lot of
want.
other things, but new worlds that they wanted to include Wreck-It Ralph, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Rapunzel, and Frozen. This collapsed and never came to fruition, but there is some artwork you can see of some of the designs. This was not going to be a console release. This was going to be a cash-in mobile style game, but it was exciting nonetheless that
Everyone was waiting for Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts.
I was gonna say Clone Wars would be dope.
But if
It
you
would have been so dope.
if you want to talk about like cool big releases, Kingdom Hearts Kai or Key or X, depending on the pronunciation that they all use.
It's
Dylan.
Greek.
But Dylan, they use all those pronunciations in universe.
I know.
But okay. This was a web browser game. Now everybody loves their web browser. It's their favorite console.
I love clicking on my screen.
There's nothing like going on a Safari.
My favorite.
You know what I'm saying?
The Google
click, clicky,
guys,
click.
When you boot up Google Chrome and it makes that sound.
When I go click, and you hear.
Now we are going to talk
Chrome.
We're going to talk a lot about this game tomorrow. Unfortunately, because let's take all of the major lore of like the history of
fine.
your universe, the age of the age of fairy tales. It seems not important at the time, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. It's like, oh, actually, this is the most important thing. Mm-hmm. This came out in Japan in 2013, USA in 2016 for another release for the.
Can I download it now?
Yes.
Yes,
Are you going to?
Sure.
Are you actually going to play it?
No.
Kingdom Hearts Key landed on the Android and the iOS devices in 2015. It was renamed Unchained X, and then it was also named Unchained X Dark Road because they added more to it, which includes Xehanort as a teenager learning he hates people. This was a mobile browser game. It was point and click. You played as player, and it was more of like a turn-based RPG, and it wasn't great, but it is what it is. Square Enix wanted to have more games and different business models. They needed more money. They couldn't just wait for big releases, so they had to. We need incremental things for their big franchises.
Yeah, but in a way, mobile releases at this point in the world, that is the biggest thing that you could possibly do. Because everyone has one. You don't need a PlayStation or a DS or a PSP or all of these things that these games have come out for. Everyone has a phone now.
And even before that, this was a browser game.
Yeah.
This was fucking Flash. This was, I'm clicking on a website.
It looks really bad.
And you know what it is? And it is bad, Dylan. Dylan, you're right. You know, this does suck. But as far as the gameplay,
I tend to be right.
As far as this gameplay goes, it's a card-based combat, not dissimilar to Crisis Core. That's what you were doing. And the base game was free. There was microtransactions. It did become a mobile game. It was rebranded as Union X Crossroad in 2020.
Yeah, I just started downloading it, and I was like, what is UX? Union Crossroads.
Yeah, Union Cross.
At this point, we're going to reach the age of the re-releases. HD 1.5 Remix came out for the PS3 in 2013. It included blah, 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 lots of things. Oh. They just released everything again in compilations. Y'all know this. You're
everything
listening.
Up until 2.
If you're not familiar with these releases, check them out. Essentially, they're just like really fancy, nice packages for all of the games.
If you haven't played them, they're $20 now, and you get a lot of gameplay.
If you want to replay 358 Days Over 2, you can only do it on the DS. If you want to replay Coded, you can only do that on the DS as well. But otherwise, every other game in the franchise outside of the fucking Union games are playable in these packages, and they're great. They're really nice packages. I got 1.5 and 2.5 remix for like $20, which I've gotten over probably 70, 80 hours of gameplay between everything on there. So that's great.
It's quality money. It's bang for your buck, regardless of whether or not you like these games. It's a lot of gameplay for dollar amount.
Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue came out for the PlayStation 4 in Japan, January 12th, 2017, and in America 12 days later. This is unique because it contains a new game. I'm using the term loosely. The concept, Nomura felt it was necessary to tell this part of Aqua's story, but didn't think it would work well in Kingdom Hearts 3. It includes an HD remake of Dream Drop Distance, which is fantastic. It includes Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage, which is great. It is Aqua's story, and it kind of showcases what Aqua was up to for 10 years. And
10?
Well, she was in there.
man.
Barely looks a day over 30.
Well, time. I will say this. We'll talk about it, but time works differently in the realm of darkness.
Just ask Ansem the Wise, am I right? But no, Fragmentary Passage was cool. It just showed how great Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to look. As far as unique changes to what was happening in the game, you could accessorize Aqua. I put, man, I love being a woman. Because if you do enough Fire Ragas, you can get unique ears for Aqua to wear. You can get unique wings or outfits, depending on what you do gameplay-wise.
This is dumb.
Oh,
that's really stupid.
This is your first female character-led game, and you just make accessorizing your clothes an integral part.
Yeah,
especially since Kairi does
girls
nothing
only
ever.
like clothes, and that's all they like.
Yeah, but they're hot too.
The title meaning of HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. 2.8 is
Shut
stuff.
up. What? What do you mean?
Well, 2.8 is all of everything before, and then
No.
0. No, but 0.2 is the last bit you need to get to 3.
What?
Because it was Kingdom Hearts 2.8, but then 0.2 is the new game, so you need to add those up together to get to 3.
No, bad.
No,
I smack it on the nose.
No,
bad.
You were saying earlier
Dylan.
you like the naming conventions.
that's how math works. Yeah, Dylan, 358 over 2 days.
I love Xanadu.
I need Xanadu.
It's what Dylan takes to calm down from video game bullshit.
But
All right. So then this little game,
talking fuckers.
this little game comes out.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3 arrived on the PlayStation 4 in Japan January 25th, 2019, 4 days later in America. This game came out, and I bought it day one, collector's edition.
Is this the one? This big box here?
That is the big box there, yes.
Okay.
It came with an art book, which isn't great. It came with a pin that is I'm never going to use.
Can I see the pin?
It's on the back.
I'll pull it out for you.
I would love to
Xanadu.
take that to Disneyland and see how many people want to trade me that pin, and I will tell them to fuck right off.
In 2013, January 24th, this is the first thing anyone ever heard about official confirmation. Jesse McCartney reveals in a post that he is recording the next chapter. Jesse McCartney is Roxas?
And
He's Riku.
And Levent and Ven.
And
he's
Ventus.
Riku.
He's Ven and
No, that's
Roxas.
David Gallagher. Okay, this is the first anyone knew about it. Development. Nomura was pulled from Final Fantasy 15. This made him very unhappy.
Of course it did.
Well, and he was... Dude, it wasn't that
It
Nomura...
wasn't a good game to begin with.
It wasn't that Nomura was fucking up, though. It was that he was pushed back a million
I
times.
don't blame him for 15.
Well, it's just unfortunate because he's been trying to make this game for 7-8 years.
Yep.
And then everything else fucked up so much. He was pulled over to 7 remake. He was pulled over here. 15 was remade into a DLC and ramen commercial, is what I put. No Final Fantasy.
Maru-chan.
Other things in Kingdom Hearts 3. No Final Fantasy characters. October 2014, it was switched to Unreal Engine 4 since the in-game engine sucked, which they were all being forced to use. Final Fantasy 14 is a great example that a lot of people have fun stories about.
That's actually a decent engine, by the way.
Not for what they were using it for.
No. For an MMO, yes. Because the animations are limited and stilted. You cannot do it.
Dominic,
Yes.
you beat Kingdom Hearts 3 today.
I did.
He
Today.
did it.
Literally
But you didn't
today.
play the DLC.
Oh, don't worry. He's already beaten it.
Have I?
No, you didn't.
You beaten 1/3 of the DLC, I'll say that much. Which is just like replaying another thing with extra scenes and some other things added. But
Okay.
Dom, what is your thoughts? Give us your review of Kingdom Hearts 3. Me and Xanadil are going to let you just speak your mind for a second here.
All right. Kingdom Hearts 3 is not a very good video game, in my opinion. The gameplay itself is literally just like, I'm going to hit X a bunch and sometimes B.
If you want to do nothing, triangle.
Right. Which I did a lot because it was fun to see a couple of things.
Oh, you're playing on the Xbox One.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's why.
Sorry, yes.
It wasn't challenging. I didn't die a single time until I got to the Keyblade graveyard.
Standard or proud mode?
Just regular.
So standard.
Yeah, I was trying to get it to... I was trying to beat it before we recorded this.
Good decision.
Yeah.
I did that same decision and I wound up regretting it. I recently played it on proud mode and that sucked as well. Please continue.
It's just not like I go to these worlds and if I wanted to watch the movie again, I would just watch the movie again.
Frozen.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. I was impressed.
They rehashed it.
It's
and they didn't even rehash the first one. They rehashed
sorry.
the third one.
No, but I agree with you. On my first playthrough, I was underwhelmed by combat, and it was off-putting to an extent because something about Kingdom Hearts really works as a PS2, PS3.
Yeah, because you're not reliving he's imagined a new, not necessarily story. It doesn't matter what's happening. It's just, I'm going to throw you in this world and it's going to happen.
Just graphically, though, to see Sora, Donald, and Goofy in PS4 graphics and recently my PS5, like
It does not look good.
it's odd. They look good, but it doesn't.
They don't.
It's no. It doesn't. I understand
sorry,
what
they
he's
do
saying.
not.
It doesn't look good, but it does look good because there's no reason for Donald and Goofy to be in a humanoid existence.
What it looks like is off.
Well, when one of the story beats is do not tell people that you're from a different world, and then a dog and a duck come out and they're talking and they're speaking English
And literally-
with a bunch of humans, and everyone goes, "This is normal."
Yep.
And then they do the thing where, hey, we're from another world. And then
They
Donald and
take a Star
Goofy
Trek-
jump on him and say, don't say that we're from a different world. You're a talking cartoon dog and duck not wearing any pants. And that's where the line is drawn?
You're so right, Tom.
Okay.
In this game, there was not a lot of thought in this game.
And here I'm following with you.
Yeah.
If they're gonna have that like weird kind of like Star Trek, I can't go into this mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't interfere with this world because of, I don't know, a woman with magical hair that goes down. Like it means something that you can cast like Thundaga.
Yeah.
I have to immediately question.
At one point, Donald casts Zeta Flare and almost kills himself, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's also like, what are we actually taking from this?
My first time playing it, I didn't love it. I didn't think the story was okay. I mean, the story was going to be what it was. The story was going to be what it was. Let me have a moment.
Go
here.
for it.
The story was going to be whatever it was, and regardless of whether or not it was good, the Kingdom Hearts story is always its own thing. As far as gameplay goes, to me, it felt very rehashed, and I didn't feel like they were adding anything new to make it exciting. And if anything, they added way too much to make it visually appealing, but extremely blasé. I made an entire thing in my outline here called the triangle button. Because rather than unique things like D-links or summons or drive gauges, it's a thing called the triangle button here, or
Which is fun for
the
me.
Y button.
Because it's Y.
so the triangle button can activate many things.
We need to have just a segment about this, by the way.
One of them,
They're called formations, right?
they're called many things.
Yes.
Because
Attractions.
It's not just a formation. Okay, so that you can do party attacks, Keyblade transformations, attraction flows, but
Yeah.
there are multiple things that can stack up as well.
Some of them are good. Some of them are not good.
Did you land 3 ground combos in a row? Let's just make the entire rest of the battle even easier to press X. And I will say this, they're all fucking visually very impressive. What you're doing is very, like, it's stimulating.
I agree with you.
But there's no gameplay.
For the first time.
Oh, man. Okay, so my first time playing through Attraction Flow, I only used it when I was in trouble. And my second time, I didn't use it unless I fucking needed to because it wastes time. A pirate... Okay, so
The pirate ship one. Yeah!
But also...
Go!
Also,
Yes!
a very cool idea. I like using Disney World rides as a summon or as something to...
Right.
As a gameplay element.
Having been to Disneyland several times,
Yep.
pirate ship, not an attraction.
No, not an attraction.
Pirates of the Caribbean is an attraction, but the attraction they have in this game, not an attraction. Teacups, great.
And also,
Astro Blasters, my favorite ride at Disneyland, a very bad concept in this game.
Big Magic Mountain, though, rarely used, makes it very cool.
Yes.
When you're going
Yeah.
around the Hercules like mountain boss,
Yeah.
and you're just using it as like a little like side shooter on a roller
Yeah,
coaster.
and
That's okay. I
I
liked.
like that a lot.
But
I like
then
that a
it just
lot.
disappears
opener.
until literally the end of the game.
I know. Here's the big
Splash
problem.
and Run. I've heard too many murder podcasts about how people died on those rides.
Well, this
so.
is
Makes
the problem.
sense.
Yeah.
This
Makes
is
sense.
the problem I
'cause
had.
we
with-
murdered a lot of Heartless.
Magic Carousel, my favorite attraction flow.
Yes, actually, it's a fun
It's a quick
DDR.
It's like a simple like rhythm thing, and then also I don't know, but these attraction flows I think are poorly implemented, but
Yeah.
a good idea. I do also appreciate that they're done in like the style of the Disney Carnival. It's glorious. It looks brilliant, but if you use them every single battle, they suck.
Yeah.
And they do. Go ahead, Dylan.
Well, I think for the most part, like the whole idea here is non-repetition. It's about introducing players to something that you can incrementally give them as they move along. The problem is they are the bane of all existence. They are not cool. They're not fun. They're cool like the first time.
The thing is, like, where's Space Mountain? Where is Splash Mountain?
And also, every single Keyblade has a different transformation where if you land like 3 combos in a row, you can all of a sudden have the mast of a ship if you're using this Keyblade from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Only
if you're
thing I
using,
liked.
If you're using the toy box, you can get like a giant hammer. And every Keyblade also has like another transformation. But if you didn't know that, every single Keyblade has a different gameplay element. And it's cool, but it's another thing where it happens every combat cycle and it becomes nonsense and not exciting. You have shot locks, you have flow motion. Essentially, everything we've talked about so far builds up to Kingdom Hearts 3, and a lot of it works and a lot of it falls extremely flat. And it's very frustrating because Kingdom Hearts 3 had the potential to unite what was good about all of them, and it falls short of a lot of it. On my recent playthrough, I will say I was blown away by how good a lot of things looked. Toy Story, the toy box, looks like I was watching a Pixar film. Tangled and Frozen. Well, I'm just saying.
I know, but that's the problem is they just took all of the ones that are Pixar / new films. And I feel
That's
like
big.
there's
That's-
a huge
no,
missed
no.
opportunity for
Okay, let's talk about the world.
There should have been Star Wars.
There's 6. Well, it was too late.
They wanted to.
They wanted to, and they'll get there eventually. But okay, they only have 6 worlds, but these worlds are a lot meatier. There's a lot more to them. Okay,
There are only 2 that are okay.
which 2?
Monsters, Inc. and Toy Story.
Those are the only 2 you think are okay.
I'm sticking with that.
Why do you like those or dislike the other worlds?
Because they're not retellings of a fucking story I can watch a movie about.
Okay, I agree.
No, because in the Monsters Inc. one,
Big Hero
it gives
6
you an
isn't
actual-
a retelling.
No, but I also think it's fucking boring.
Dude, Big Hero 6 is one of the only worlds I love in the game.
I like all of the movies that were selected other than Frozen as movies.
collecting the snowman.
But
collecting Olaf and Frozen is the worst part of the game.
Yeah. So that world, for one, do not like the movie. I don't hate the movie. I just don't like the amount of hype that movie got.
Frozen 2 is
if you
really
are
bad.
if you are a listener of this podcast, I have the same feelings about Frozen that Dylan has about Undertale.
That's actually
I don't hate the movie.
Let it go.
I just hate
Let it go.
Fuck's sakes,
God damn it,
man.
Brad. We're both going to kill you.
Try
It won't even be
A
hard.
little tenderness.
We'll put you right
a
through the
little
window.
tenderness.
I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but when you put me through all of these movies that we're going through as a Disney fanboy,
Frozen is
and
offensive.
you put me through the exact music video of Let It Go
But you can
with
see Donald.
Sora, Donald, and Goofy watching it happen going, she's right. Fuck off.
Okay,
First of all.
so-
but then you get later on and then they want to do you want to build a snowman? And I was about to fucking throw my controller into my TV. We get to the Pirates world.
Yes.
And it's a rehashing of not the first, not the second,
These stories,
but
though.
the third movie.
No. But Kingdom Hearts has to tell the stories of movies
Of
to an
hearts.
extent.
I
And Kingdom,
understand.
no, but Pirates of the Caribbean 3, I remember reading this. The reason they chose the third film was because the second one is an interquel and they don't want it to be like a lingering thing that they have to deal with. And also it makes sense to have Davy Jones' locker or like have
It
the
does
heart in
make
the thing.
sense, Brad, but
yes.
do a better thing and get Moana where the actual movie is about following and finding a heart throughout the entire thing.
Moana would have been.
Moana
better.
is such a better movie.
I think
It came out too late.
Well, I think Nomura.
It's video game
I think
development.
Nomura was between a rock and a hard place after
Probably,
also
yeah.
being pushed around way too far, having to switch engines, and they have 6 worlds, but some of them are very big. And Pirates of the Caribbean world, they have a whole ship fighting aspect, which is actually pretty good.
it actually is a very
I've heard it's-
cool.
It's not as competent as Black Flag, but it's better than almost anything other than Black Flag.
I did like it. I just didn't like the fact that I was replaying the ending of the third movie. I
Well,
didn't need
that was a part of it, but also there was a whole exploring all these other islands without any sort of story, which was really cool. The toy box was a very big, expansive world. Monsters Inc. was cool because it was like what happened after the film. I personally was most excited about Big Hero 6 because I love that movie. And,
do too.
And I thought it was fun that it was after the movie.
I just love Aunt Cass.
Well, I don't hate her. I like that it was it was a sequel to the movie where also the Baymax that was trapped in the world was recaptured by the Heartless and brought back.
Mm-hmm.
They brought him back, so there's now 2 Baymaxes. It's whatever, but
so it's Big Hero 7.
I don't hate the worlds. I teased this earlier. My first playthrough, about 28, 29 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not 100%, but it was not taking it easy. That was me going out of my way to explore everything. That was going out of my way. If I saw emblem, I took a picture.
Yeah.
I took my time. I went back and did a lot of cooking, but I didn't do completionist.
I think my total clock was 32.
So yeah, it's a comfortable 30 hours is what
30-ish,
you
yeah.
expect for your first playthrough if you are a semi-completionist for someone there to try and experience that. My replay recently, start, skip cutscene, start, skip cutscene. It's hard to say it because I did. It's hard to say because I did it so much.
Skip Spazma.
You know what's funny? Because there were multiple times where I skip a cutscene
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, here's another cutscene.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to skip this one. Here's 3 more. They seriously would have like 5 cutscenes in a row sometimes. And I'm like, I was like, whoa, dude. I understand skipping 2 cutscenes, but there was like seriously 5 in a row. But okay, my recent playthrough where I played on proud mode. I didn't go critical, but I'm like, all right, I just want to see the game. I want to experience the gameplay. It took 10 hours to beat all of the gameplay.
Yeah, so 15 hours less than your first playthrough.
About-
15 hours
about-
of cutscenes. man.
The YouTube will show you that it's about 10 and a half, like 10 to 10 and a half hours of cutscenes, but that's cutting out exploration and trying to figure out, because when I know where to go in the toy box, it saves a lot of time. But
It really
I don't know.
does.
That just like shows what's really going on there because
It's called filler. It's a real thing.
well, no, I mean, exploration is also a real thing and
Don't be
experience.
apologetic. It's
I'm not being apologetic. Okay, you're replaying a PlayStation 1 RPG. You know this city has 5 shops, 3 unique characters, but you know which characters to talk to. You run through them rather than talk to everybody and stuff. You're saving time. It's cutting down on exploration. And
You don't have to go to Chadley every time.
you don't. You just go to Chadley when you need to.
Yeah.
He doesn't like talking about Chadley.
I know. That's why I get.
Try Xanadel. Try Xanadel. Try
I
Xanadel.
am
Not that much. Dylan. Try Xanadel.
Try Xanadel.
If you're not sure if something's legal, just take some more. It'll be fine.
If you don't know what that ethnicity you are, try Xanadel.
Xanadel. Try Xanadel. Have you been sleeping like shit or want to sleep for 30 hours? Try Xanadel.
Have you ever had accordion issues? Try Xanadel.
My accordion don't work no more, and I really couldn't make it work. Oh, fuck.
Are you upset by repetitive gameplay loops? Do you think Donald should put on pants?
Is it your stepmom, or is it your mom?
Try Xanadel. Xanadel has been approved by 1 out of 2 Ansems. The meaning of Kingdom Hearts 3 is it was the 3rd one, despite it being the 9th one. The 9th one. It failed in a lot of ways, but...
It did. It actually did not sell well.
What do you hate about Kingdom Hearts 3?
The weird inconsistencies with it.
Okay.
So you get to the end, right? And if you are a person like me and Brad and not you, Dylan, but
What?
somebody who has
Reasonable.
played a majority of these games, Kingdom Hearts 3 rewards the fuck out of you for doing it and makes you... All these characters are now coming back, and you're like, I remember that. I remember that.
It
Yes.
was heavily backloaded
Yeah. So
in story.
there's a bit where you go to the Keyblade graveyard, which, as a player who hasn't
saw
played
that
the
cutscene.
mobile games, that's where I've been wanting to go since I saw the cutscene at the end of 2.
But you saw you played Birth by Sleep. You go
Yeah,
to the Keyblade
you go there,
Graveyard.
but
It's
you-
literally where
like-
a lot of it takes place.
Yeah. But you go back and you're like, I'm back, baby. Let's fight all of the villains that you fought before. And you have to choose which direction you got to go.
But you fight all of them regardless.
Right. It doesn't matter which direction you go. That's not the problem.
Okay.
The problem is the game goes, oh my God, Kyrie and Axel are fighting over here. And then you have
He prefers Axel
Mickey,
at this point, though.
Mickey and Aqua are over here. Who are you going to save? It doesn't matter because you're going to save both. You go to one, and then you get there, and it's like they're fighting 3 different characters.
Yeah.
So you fight 3 different characters, and when you beat one, there's a cutscene, and it goes, gameplay stops. Even though you were fighting 3 people with 2 other people, so it was 3v3. Gameplay stops, and there's a cutscene about this person dying, and they're like, thank you, Sora. You've released my soul again. My heart's going to my somebody, and this and that. And I'm like...
It's a contrivance. It's a
Right.
contrivance. But imagine you kill Xemnas, but young Xehanor's still running around.
Right.
You need to know. You need to know what happened to Xemnas. So what are you going to do?
I understand.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts.
It's bad. It's
Kingdom
really
Hearts
bad.
3 is not graceful.
No.
Kingdom Hearts 3 has a tricky balancing act of this needs to be the end of what Nomura calls the Dark Seeker saga.
Okay.
No, like
Fucking
No, I believe it.
So like he needs to conclude stories from Birth by Sleep, 358 over 2 days, Chain of Memories, 1, 2, and 3, and Dream Drop Distance. Like all of these games encoded.
Recoded,
and
coded, blah, blah,
like
blah.
implement the mobile games as well.
And so what becomes the core point of this entire story isn't a new fun story, but this is just the wrapping up of everything because what the contrivance is we have 7 hearts and 13 darknesses. And so what he needs to do is like, well, I need the Riku replica from Chain of Memories. I need this from over here. I need this from over here. And that's time travel got brought in so they could have Ansem, they could have Xemnas, they could have all of these characters.
Young Xehanort and all that. Yeah.
In Kingdom Hearts 3, when you beat Ansem, he goes back to the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 time travel to get killed. Mm-hmm. When you beat Xemnas, he goes back to the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 to go get killed because that's how the time travel works. They traveled forward and then backwards before the end of the previous game.
Yeah.
Fucking die. God.
And
damn,
they
no good.
I do understand where you're coming from, Dylan. There are parts in the end of this game that I was like, no. It is actually very nice to see Axel and Roxas and
it was nice seeing all the characters together.
Yeah, it really is.
It was therapeutic. And
Listen, I'm an anime dork too. I know what's good.
There is a better way to do it. Absolutely. Having played Birth by Sleep and having Ven and Aqua and Terra, especially Terra, come back and like be together and they're like hugging Ericus.
Yeah.
I was like,
it feels
actually,
good.
You know what? This is fucking great.
Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind came out on the PS4 2020. That was January 23rd. You haven't tried this, right?
No,
yet?
I have not. And I haven't tried Melody of Memory either, which I don't know if there's any lore in that. Probably not.
You're an idiot.
There is.
There's a lot of lore in Melody of Memory.
Okay. I imagine we're going to talk about it?
Tomorrow for sure. But
Okay,
so there are 2.5 things that happen in there. There is the Remind scenario. Essentially, Sora gets sent back in time to try and save Kairi right before the final boss rush. So you have almost the exact same final boss sequence at the end. Essentially, you're going to refight Terra. You're going to refight everybody. They add new scenes. They add more story conclusions or question marks at the end of everything. After you beat that and defeat... Well, there's also some more things with like Mickey Mouse and Xehanort at the end, but it's a lot of just more story with the same gameplay. After you beat that, you unlock Limit Cut episode, where there's 13 additional bosses. Essentially, it is a extremely hard version of all of
the final bosses.
Okay. It is Digital Sora fighting super bosses.
Oh, here we go.
But all of the Final Fantasy characters are there like, let's study the what was happening with Sora.
Now, when you say all of the Final Fantasy characters...
The Final Fantasy characters are back. Like Sid and Aerith and Yuffie, they're all there in the DLC.
Oh, shit. I might have to play this.
We can at least watch the cutscene. I mean, that's free. But if you can beat all 13 additional super bosses, then you unlock Secret Episode with an additional secret boss, which is Yozora from Verum Rex.
Oh, the video game.
You don't
from
you
the
haven't
Toy
played
Story
the
world?
DLC.
You don't know this yet.
Is this the Toy Story thing?
It's not a DLC.
This is the Toy Story video game.
Yozora is the main character from Verum Rex, and he is the hidden super secret boss. He approaches Sora, who has disappeared, and he says, "I'm here to protect you," and then you fight him.
This is a
video game in a video game.
And Melody of Memory.
It is. Do you remember in Versus 13 how they don't call him Noctis? The first
Does Noctis have different pupil colors?
Yes, he does. In the
Does he?
In the first trailer, yeah.
Okay.
Versus 13.
Have you ever seen the trailer for it?
No.
It's a little boy. Well, it's not a little boy. It's like a teenager. He's sleeping against the side of a car. And it's moving, and he's obviously rich or something or whatever. And this is clearly Nomura like teasing his game. And this, he literally made Verum Rex his version of Final Fantasy 13 within the world of Kingdom Hearts.
It's almost
a fuck you.
I was going to say, it's almost like
it's a fuck you.
Yeah.
It's a fuck you to the extreme.
All right, you won't let me make Versus 13. I am making Verum Rex, which is Versus 13 in Toy Story, And I've also heard
It is literally, it's the demo.
But-
you
but-
play the demo.
But sadly,
Okay.
the one character who knows the most about Verum Rex is Rex from Toy Story. So
That's not sad at all. That sounds awesome.
I just want the
That sounds awesome.
the Kingdom Hearts 4 prologue being told by Rex, like, and then Sora shows up. And
Well, he does that with Zurg in Toy Story 2.
oh, Rex is great.
This story beat, by the way, is the most interesting thing to me that has ever happened in Kingdom Hearts, and it's the last piece of their first saga.
Okay. So, Yozora is the last thing that happens, and then, regardless of whether or not you beat him as Sora, you have a slightly different ending. But it's Yozora waking up in a car, being driven by some people, and
Which was the trailer for a game that should have come out in 2014.
but not Nomura's fault. But this,
No, but he's still referencing it.
yes, and at this point, the person driving the car is like, "It feels real, doesn't it?"
This actually blew my mind when I saw this.
Also, the words that like lie over a lot of the sequence, I've been having strange feelings lately. I don't know what's real and what's fake. Are the exact same words that were over the Kingdom Hearts 1 intro.
I was going to say,
Except it's a
that
more
sounds like
direct
the first
translation.
one.
and
The Japanese.
it's the exact same intro over Kingdom Hearts 1. Let's talk about Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, because clearly a rhythm game can't be lore heavy. You can't just have a rhythm game spin-off that is integral to the plot, right? Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory came out last year, 2020, November 11th. It's a rhythm game from the Theater Rhythm creator. 140 songs with 4 gameplay modes.
40 songs?
As someone who hasn't played the game, Dom, I can understand your excitement. As someone
No,
who's,
that's not excitement.
that's
That's appalling.
that you don't think that there's more?
No,
Sorry,
that
Paul.
like why just pick like 40?
No, 140 is good because it's. I mean,
Sure, you're
no,
right.
it's a big franchise. But the
Bigger,
problem
better.
is, I showed this to Dylan earlier, and
Yeah.
when I play Theater Rhythm, I know all the Final Fantasy music because it's iconic and I remember it and it's beautiful. This is not knocking Yoko Shimomura, but I don't remember Alice in Wonderland from Kingdom Hearts 1, and I don't want to play a rhythm song based on it. Some of it's great, some of it's not. This is a game where you're playing as Kairi, exploring her, I think it's her dreams or her memories, but either way, you actually are playing as Sora when you play, but it's Kairi's memory of Sora.
Sure.
Sure. But at the very end, there is some heavy lore elements we're going to talk about tomorrow. But okay.
Is it fun?
I mean, I played all the way through it. I thought it was fun. It was, as far as rhythm games go, bottom tier. I love,
So not fun.
well, it's still fun because I still love rhythm games. And it wasn't bad. Like Dylan, you saw it earlier. You're like, I get it.
It wasn't bad.
You're like, I get it. It's not bad.
There's
but it's-
actually something interesting about it. On its own as a system, I basically said, is it dumb amplitude?
And I said,
Brad was
yes.
like, yeah.
You have a core hit, which you can hit with L, R, or A.
Okay.
And whether or not it's left, center, or right, it doesn't matter. Any of the buttons will work interchangeably.
Okay.
And then if there's 2 or 3 hits at the same time, you can hit any 2 at the same time or all 3 together.
Okay.
You're following a track, though, and you're hitting enemies that are coming. Enemies are the notes, and some enemies move faster and some move slower. So you guys also have to time with when the enemies arrive. So some Heartless go slow, and some are like flying at you fast. But they all arrive at this plane, and you have to hit it at that point. So
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero, all the notes move at the same speed.
Yeah. Okay.
Where some of these are like, some notes move faster, some don't. It's fine. It's acceptable. It's not the best rhythm game, but right now we're going to hear from some of our fans. Luigi's Apartment says, I was excited for Chain of Memories because it meant I could finally play a Kingdom Hearts game. Maybe not the best representation of the series. I stopped playing after 10 hours.
Eric Gatz writes, played the first two and about half of the third. Really enjoyed the story and how they connect each world. Wow, that's like surprising. Considering like 1, 2, and 3, there are huge gaps in between.
When asked the question, what worlds would you like to see added to Kingdom Hearts? I'm going to let you read the first one, top of that, by Rai Rai.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People. You shrink down to leprechaun size with all the hilarity you'd expect. I'm sorry, dog. I don't know what Darby O'Gill
Dude, it's a fucking weird
It's a
movie.
Disney movie,
It's
man.
a weird
with Sean Connery.
You team up with Sean Connery. Sure. The Banshee and Heartless team up doesn't steal the gold/heart of the world. First of all,
Oh, no.
I love you, dude. I really do, but Jesus.
I'm pretty. So he
goddamn.
posted that on the Discord. And I'm pretty sure Brad was like, "Hey, everybody, give me the worlds you'd like to see." And within 10 seconds, he was like,
Darby O'Gill.
"This is what I want to see."
Jay Business says, Grey's Anatomy. You get thrown deep into the love triangle between McSteamy and McDreamy, leading to greater tension in the hospital. The main objective of the level is to find and disarm the bomb. The boss battle is against the hospital itself, but inexplicably, it turns into a rhythm game.
That would be fun.
And also, there's a heart transplant somewhere.
Jay Hobbs says, it could be neat to see the world based on The Incredibles. I do agree with that, actually. That'd be really cool. Sora basically has anime powers anyways, so he'd fit right in. People usually bring up Marvel and Star Wars. Hell, maybe do all 3 of those so that Samuel L. Jackson can voice 3 different characters at the same time in the same game. Ooh. Yeah. Not bad.
Judge Tempest says, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers would be S tier for me. When Monterey Jack grabs the cheese as a companion, he would hold on. These aren't even words, dude.
Start over. No, they are.
All right, so you've never seen Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, apparently, right?
No.
When Monterey Jack...
I thought he... Okay, start over. You're doing great.
No, just go from the top. We're including this all, but
My questions are so unique.
we're including this all, but go from the top.
Judge Tempest says, and I love you, buddy. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers would be S tier for me. When Monterey Jack grabs the cheese as a companion, he would go batshit crazy and fuck shit up. With Gadget, you could have different vehicles. What the fuck does this mean to anyone?
Have you not seen Rescue Rangers Down Under?
No, that's Rescue Rangers.
Kip says, I'd want to go to the world of Brink, bring in the made-for-TV Disney movies.
Pup and Suds?
Sora could get a Team Pup and Suds shirt, and you could downhill race with through the level. Watch out for rocks. At the end, the boss would be a shitty shit boy. He forgets his name.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I forgot about that movie. That movie came out on my birthday, like the year it came out.
It'd be a fun movie game.
Yeah, that's essentially Tarzan.
Yeah.
When you're surfing on trees and
Or
stuff.
Frozen World when you're fucking shield surfing.
Jesus. Eric Gatz writes, really liked Raya and the Lost Dragon, so I could see a future tie-in for that movie. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I've heard really good things about it.
Emmer Kenny says, a Coco-themed world would be amazing.
Also, if they somehow did an homage of actually going to Disney World, that would be so freaking cool.
I mean, if you're going to implement the hidden Mickey aspect in a game, it would make sense to just why not just go to Epcot Center?
Yes, it would be a throwback to the NES Disney World game where you actually have to do all the mini games. But from our Discord, they also all agree that they love Lance Bass. This was approved by everybody, who of course voiced Sephiroth. Judge Tempest writes, what do you think is in the box? With most speculation that it is a copy of the Book of Prophecies. It almost has to be something else, right? I will tell you. We have the box here.
Oh, here it is. Holy shit. Okay, this is a suitcase-sized box, everybody.
I want to see what's in the box.
I know. Funny you should ask. We actually have the box right here. Friend of the show, Chris Dongboy, actually...
No, that's not his name, is it?
You can check my phone. His name is Chris Dongboy.
All right.
He is in a Flick Rush League with the Master of Masters. And
What?
he reached
I don't
out
know
to
what
him.
that even means.
He reached out to him for us. They have given us the faded black box from the series. We actually have it here. We are going to be opening it on the Kingdom Hearts 420 Days over 69 Lore Bukkake episode.
I swear to God, if I get anthrax, I'm going to...
We are going to be opening this on our next episode. It's exclusively for Patreon supporters, but we do have the box here. It's a beautiful box, like a big heart lock on it. We have it here.
Sure.
It's right there, man.
We have the box. Dude,
It's right there.
Carly packed it for us because we received this box. We don't know what's inside of it.
You can hear it. I'm knocking on it.
Well, I've heard it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I know.
Dylan, you don't know what's in there.
I don't know what's in there.
And
Brad doesn't even know what's in there.
I don't know what's in here. I don't. I have no idea what's in here. Okay, but if you want to know what's inside the box, this will be available exclusively to our Patreon members. If you want to hear us discuss
Oh my
the
God.
the lore of Kingdom Hearts, we're going to do that tomorrow, but that episode will be exclusive to Patreon members. It's only the $3 tier, so if you want to know, it's fucking super easy to get
just
to.
there.
It's just there. It's less than buying a beer for your friend. Cancel it right after you get it if you want to. We don't care. We love you
we don't
regardless.
give a
But
shit. It's fine.
honestly, if you want to know what's in this box, which I do, it's at the $3 tier. Go to patreon.com/hairthedogcast. We also have our exclusive show, Doggies After Dark, which is only for Patreon members.
Which we'll record right now.
And also, please write a review for this podcast anywhere you can. Like and subscribe to us on Instagram. We are on Instagram at Hair of the Dogcast or on Twitter at Hot Dogcast. At the end of this 50th episode, we would like to thank again our executive producers, Ryan Christianick, Brian Ward, Tyler Keller, Kip the Killer Mister, Kip the Killeroni, Kill Boy. He killed everyone. And also the rest of our Patreon supporters, Alicia Green, Katie Bone, Phil Wright, Jake Murphy, Andy Bush, Juice Mueller. I think he's a big Kingdom Hearts fan. I can't tell.
No, you can tell by the way that he's already told us what
He's
Kingdom
given
Hearts
me
is
so
about.
many things lately.
Thank you. Thank you
Sucks-ish.
for joining us on this Raw Dogs journey. It's been 50 episodes, and I've had a very good time, and I'm very happy that if you're listening and enjoying it, thank you for being here. And it's been a great excuse to hang out with some of my good friends, so thank you if you have been listening.
I love all my friends as well, especially the new friends I've gotten based on this podcast.
You like
frankly.
them? You like them more than me? Yes, I would. I do too. Well, I mean, we don't like Kyrie more than
love you on
Riku, right?
Well,
Well, guys, I'm very likable.
it's
but-
absolutely true. But I'm going to say, frankly, like this has been a very positive thing in my life.
Oh,
and
same.
I really do. I fucking love it. Mm-hmm. There's every part of me that loves it.
Even Birth by Sleep?
I will talk about any video game we fucking put up here. I will talk about Dream Drop Distance. I'll talk about some dumbass video game. I'll talk about Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And also, yeah, you're gonna want to hear the lore Bukkake tomorrow.
Okay,
but,
because I've got things to say, and it's going to be awful,
Guys.
And I'm literally going to swear,
guys,
up
I
and down.
tried to cut down the mobile games as much as possible. We
Brad,
have
I'm
at
gonna
least a
kill you.
page and a half. There's a
Are you ready to be quizzed?
yeah.
Is Brain in there?
What do you think? I'm a fucking
Brian.
idiot. Of course, Brain's
Is
in
his
there.
All right,
brother
well-
named Brain?
There are possibly
be.
there are possibly two Brains in there, and also mine if I bring mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mine's not going to be there. All right. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll
How
catch you on the
close is your
flip
nearest
side.
cliff?
Try Xanadil.
Try Xanadu.
If you're not sure if something's legal, just take some more.
If you don't know what ethnicity you are, try Xanadu.
Xanadil. Try Xanadil. Have you been sleeping like shit or want to sleep for 30 hours? Try Xanadil.
Have you ever been like this?
God, I wish I could come sometimes.
Then maybe try Xanadil. Have you ever had accordion issues? Try Xanadil.
My accordion don't work no more, and I really couldn't make it work. Oh, fuck.
Are you upset by repetitive gameplay loops? Do you think Donald should put on pants?
Is it your stepmom, or is it your mom?
Try Xanadil. Xanadil has been approved by 1 out of 2 ANSEMs. The Raw Dogs do not necessarily support or not support the use of Xanadil. Please consult your local physician. If you're having long-lasting effects, try more alcohol.
Anything else. Literally anything else.
I'm excited to hear this, Brad. I'm excited to hear
It's not your stepmom.